he is dating a
what a
hobgoblin.
nasty boy.
He is dating a hobgoblin.
Big mid.
So he gets off on his hobgoblin eating? Man,
Well,
that's a kinky man.
We'll have to see, but we're live. So,
Yeah, I just like, all this is recorded.
You
So,
didn't say no.
so here we go.
All right, let me go
We're
ahead
live.
and mute.
So let me give you guys a quick recap of what happened last time in the subway. So, last time on the Queen of Hearts Chronicle, and I also have to recap the text scene with Williams, so we'll do that too. So, after the trial with Charlotte, everybody went down into the subway to find some meals of both kinds. So of course of emotion and of blood. And once you guys manage to find a train car full of nobles, what does Erebach do but beat the crap out of the whole train car and cause a scene? But he's able
logical step.
but he's able to escape and avoid detection from most of the police, although there's a clear sense that something has happened here, and it's a slight breach of the masquerade, but nothing that can't be but nothing that can't be cleaned up over the course of the next day or so. So we kind of, when we did that scene, we panned away from Charlotte, who was about to try to look for some homeless people in the subway to feed off of their sorrow. And by this point, Lisa would be coming off of the train, as they didn't actually find anything on the train to feed from besides maybe a puddle of blood that Erebach left. So they're looking for a more filling meal. And so the two of you would be left on the train platform, kind of searching around together.
With my lawyer.
Yes, and Alden, your lawyer, and your adoptive sire is there. He's still wearing the same kind of outfit with like the top hat and the sort of very regal clothes. And this is probably one of the first times that he's acknowledged Lisa, and he just sort of tips his hat to Lisa. He's like, "Hello, ma'am. I don't believe we've met."
She's from the trial, Alden.
Hello?
Well, I'm not meant to interact with the jury directly.
Oh, right. I remember now. You were the lawyer at the trial, correct?
That is correct. I'm here to represent my client and also teach her of the ways of our society.
I apologize. I am still new to the Society of the Damned, so it's still taking me some time to get used to faces.
The Society of the Damned. That sounds like a good rock album.
It does. So I will clarify to everyone else what happened to William real quick, because I realized I forgot. Mm-hmm. So after the trial, he went on a walk with Juliet, and Juliet was suspicious of him, so she challenged him to a duel, which he very easily defeated her and earned her favors and her trust. And at this point during the session, he would be at the manor. But if you want to, somehow insert yourself into this scene as someone else, as some kind of victim or a person, feel free to do so as you like.
No, I'm good.
Okay. Either way.
I came off of 4 hours of sleep and just another game, so I'm just like, yeah, I'll be happy to just not do stuff right now.
Fair enough. So the for the two of you, yeah, Alden greets you. He introduces himself. You see Charlotte, unlike the other changelings. You still see Charlotte as if they are just a person with, as they've said, complexion maybe slightly pale, but not as white as they truly are, and the long sort of seafoam green hair and eyes. Are you wearing anything different tonight when you're out, or is it still the same kind of dress?
No, still same kind of dress. Maybe her hair is done up a little bit, but that's about it.
Okay. So yeah, so you see them as if they're a human. So the only conclusion that you could come to is they're either, very high humanity, or that they might be of the same kind as William. Now that you've realized that they wear masks and have these their own secrets of themselves.
They might also be using Obfuscate. I think Obfuscate level 1 allows you to block your vampire paper.
That's correct. So you could also assume they might be using a discipline of some kind. But it's and this is very important to note, that so far no one has been made aware of her clan, which is the actual point of contention at the trial, was that she can't identify her own clan, she can't identify her sire. So
Okay.
So she could be a maquette for all you know. It's very unclear.
Clearly, she's a Macavian.
Clearly, I'm a ostrich with 3 heads.
See? Very Macavian.
Very Machiavellian.
Very much so.
So, as you guys are looking around for a victim, I'll let you guys have a conversation. But if at any time you just want to move directly into the hunting, you can go ahead.
Charlotte, is it?
Yes.
Lady Lisa Baskerville, I congratulate you for surviving through your trial.
Why, thank you. It's always nice to survive in other barbarians' ways.
I beg your pardon?
Well, I simply think that trial for death for misspeaking in someone's house is a very silly notion. Forgive me if I might express my own opinion now that I'm free.
I think what Alden says is, he's like, well, as long as we're in private, you can express whatever opinion you like. He's like looking around as if to check to see if anyone's like listening, and it doesn't seem like there's anybody else nearby.
Not told her the other reasons why she was on trial.
She knows in character the reasons.
Okay.
They were explained to her in detail by the lawyer, but they have a confidentiality. He doesn't have any need to explain the details to everybody else, but that's part of what the trial was he was explaining, and I've explained multiple times out of character.
I do not take what you say personally, but I would recommend you to be careful when you are mentioning this in front of the prince or others elder in the court.
Of course. Basically, don't speak against people of power in front of them.
Exactly.
I should note that at this point, and this is Alden kind of coming up behind you, he's like, at this point, I have power over you, so it would be traditional for you to show me, he ruffles his shirt, respect, Of course, we have our own agreement. He kind of gives you like a little wink, and I understand your particular etiquette, but if we were to be in a public setting, you are expected to show me the utmost respect, as if I was your parent or your superior.
Yes, Mommy.
I think we'll go with superior. I prefer not to think of having many parental units anymore.
Parental unit. Well, all right, that's reasonable.
Interesting ways. Interesting ways. She's sort of like, sorry. Oh, excuse me a moment. I gotta clear my...
Alden kind of gestures to Lisa. Miss Baskerville, you wouldn't happen to have any room in your manor, would you?
Well, I will get a guest soon at my mansion, but I might actually still have a room free. Why are you asking?
I was wondering if you'd be willing to accept my my child into your domain. I don't have very much space. I rent a small study, and it's very cramped. I don't think it would serve her very well to be placed in my care when I can hardly provide for her.
That's fair enough. I mean, I had to sleep in the closet, and though I've encountered. Like, she just sounds robotic, like, as if no, like the creepy / funny part of that show is that whenever she speaks and sitting back, she's sitting like she would like a medical report. So she's tries to be very official about it.
Right.
I look at him like I am trying to understand if he is mocking me or not.
Closet, it's a joke. She's not serious about that. It's that's how cramped it is. It feels like a closet. Yes.
Okay, Harry Potter.
Why would you
like a closet?
Why would you want me to take care of I mean,
it's
you realize I am just a fledgling, right? Do you really want to put your adoptive child in the care of a fledgling who lives several yards away from you?
I have faith in you and your household. It comes very well recommended. I've heard nothing but good things about you from well, I haven't actually heard anything about you, but I would think that
Obviously, I've been putting in words of recommendation.
Okay, I will use wit plus empathy roll.
Sure. Yeah, that's a good idea here. I'm gonna roll.
I'm not using aspects. I am just trying to use my regular.
Fair enough. Just determining what his deal is. All right. I'll roll as well.
Wits plus empathy, right?
Yep, that'd be good.
Okay, so that's 6 dice.
Yep. Okay.
Let me see.
He's gonna spend willpower on this.
Oh, so he's contesting. Well, in that case, I will spend willpower too.
All right. I feel like I should let you know that he is, because no point in not telling you.
So 9 dice.
Ooh, okay, that's not bad. Okay.
Okay, let's see what I get. Three successes.
Okay, that's good enough. The way that he's speaking and the specific things that he's speaking about in terms of his domain, your domain, his home, how cramped it is, he seems to be implying that he wants to keep her away from his place. Not necessarily away from him, but he's probably hiding something inside of his haven.
Ah, yes, the harlot.
He's probably hiding something inside of his haven, as far as you can guess, that there's something that he doesn't want, her being around, or he doesn't want her being there. He seems to be perfectly reasonable about the idea of taking care of her. He says, "Oh, I'll visit." He'll mention that, and he'll say, "Well, I would visit her, but the space in my haven, I just can't. I can't have any more people in my haven." And the way he says that implies to you that there are people there already. So you're starting to kind of piece together that, like, there is something going on in his haven that he doesn't want to tell you, and you can tell that he's hiding something, because he's being very vague, but you can get hints that there's something going on.
Very interesting. Very well. I will take your protégée at my mansion.
Oh,
assuming she agree, of course.
Well, I don't think that she's going to have any problem with it.
And then you guys look towards her, and she's sort of roaming. She's sort of like skulking about ahead of you guys, singing something to herself. She's like, "Come, wayward souls." And it's coming out like as a broken tongue because she's not very good at singing. She's sort of like looking around for people who look broken, essentially.
Can you roll me like a wits composure or wits? I guess wits composure would work.
Wits composure, all right, sure.
Can't think of anything that'd be good for this specific situation. It's also very dark, so I think I'm going to give you -1 here.
All right, I have 3 dice. All right.
Mm-hmm.
You people in your night vision, where are you helping me? That's D&D dice. Never mind.
Yeah, please don't roll in there. They're going to be confused when they see D10s.
You're gonna have a panic attack. D10's my good Christian D&D server. I got 1 success.
1 success. All right. You can see maybe there's a gathering of people actually that's over by part of the subway that are kind of just huddled around. They're collecting trash, collecting old food, that kind of thing, and they're not like they're not scrambling for it like rats, but you can see that there are some homeless people, and they're like dividing out stuff. So they're like, oh, okay, you can hear them kind of down the tunnel because there's a bit of an echo. So like, okay, you can have this. Oh no, you screwed me over last week. You don't get this, and they're like kind of divvying out different things like junk and trash and food. And they're not being very like civil about it. They're kind of just pushing and shoving each other and like arguing.
I've never fed as a changeling before, so do I have to be in close proximity, or do I have to be just in line of sight, or like what do I do?
It would have to be. I think it's line of sight. Like as long as you're aware of the emotion, you don't necessarily need to be right in their face. You don't need to be right in their face. But as long as you're like it's in the vicinity of you, so like you could technically do it from here, if you chose.
I see. So as she watches them, her like long fingers sort of like plays with the hem of her dress as if she's getting excited, and she starts murmuring about. I guess she starts murmuring more about wayward souls, and instead of rather focusing on if I'm going to describe in like her how she thinks of in doctor's terms, she's not really describing the emotion that comes from a great wound, but she's rather focusing on the agitation she could feel between these people. Because as you said, some of them are annoyed, they're not happy,
Correct.
They're rationing out things, and people are upset because some people aren't getting certain things they want. So she's more focusing on the agitation and trying to feed off of as much as she can.
That agitation. Okay, cool. Just give me a moment. I'm looking at your mantle just to see if you get the extra benefit, but I don't remember. Okay, specifically what it is. That's why I had it written. I don't know if you remember it off the top of your head.
My mantle. Let me go.
Yeah, because everyone who's in a court has an extra feeding benefit.
Winter mantle. Enemies suffer unequal.
It says gains a glamour whenever you help someone come to term with your grief. So if you actually like went over there and supported them, you would actually get free. But if you want to do it from afar, I'm just letting you know out of character. So if you wanted to like comfort them, that would give you an automatic.
Is comforting them a thing for feeding?
You could.
All right, so I guess I should clarify this for feeding then. Does feeding essentially mean I'm just harvesting emotions from them as I'm watching them, or do I could just be doing any action to be taking emotions from them?
You have to. It's both. You have to be in order to feed. You need to take an action in order to incite the emotion or to draw it out. Usually, in order to get a roll done. So just watching them, you can make a roll, but it's a little more complicated than that because you won't really benefit from a lot of your skills. But if you like go over and you try to soothe them, then that would be then that would automatically get you a glamour, for example, in this case.
So.
And then you would roll as well, and then that would add more.
Then I guess perhaps instead of voraciously feeding, she would essentially go over, still singing her broken up song, but instead of, she would essentially, every single person she passed by, she would essentially look them over, and if they had like perhaps an injury or something that looked bad, she might check it out or at least help tend to it a little bit.
Okay. I was wondering, do you have expression or no?
I have 0 expression,
All
probably.
right. So what
Yeah,
I'll say here is, do you have empathy?
I have 0 empathy.
Okay.
I'm
So
an emotionless bitch.
so I will be somewhat nice here. I'll let you do let you do like a wits and a medicine, or a intelligence medicine, or
I'll take intelligence
intelligence
medicine.
medicine. Yeah. So basically, what you're doing is you're coming over. You're sort of, or actually, you know what? Actually, would make the most sense here. Sorry, this would be more, I think, presence medicine, because you're basically coming over and you're like trying to be friendly with them. You're making yourself kind of, oh, I'm a doctor, I can help you, and you're making an impression on them, and that's kind of going to soothe them. So I think presence medicine actually makes sense here. I know it sounds weird, but this is going to be no penalties or bonuses here for this, in my
Alright,
opinion.
5 dice.
So just 5, yeah.
That's 1 success.
1 success. So you get 2 glamour.
Alrighty.
So you walk yourself over, you kind of examine these people. Some of them do appear to be injured. You notice this and you say, oh, I'll help you, don't worry. And so you come over, you provide like basic first aid. They seem to be very, pleasant, and you help kind of lift their spirits and give them hope in this very short kind of scene of this montage almost. And then Alden would be like kind of watching you from afar in the shadows, like, shadowing you literally. And as you come back over, he kind of gives you a stern, talking. He's like, you shouldn't associate with the poor. I don't know what you were doing, but it was
I was feeding.
that was quite unsanitary what you did. You shouldn't have touched them like that. They'll infect you with their
Alden,
sicknesses.
you wouldn't understand this as you are a man of the law, but I am a doctor. Sanitation doesn't really count for much when you're treating someone. They could be covered in piss and shit, but you'd still have to treat them.
I can't argue with that.
I can't now go against my nature just because someone might be a little bit dirty.
But
To be a doctor is to help. And if it means getting my hands dirty.
the council wishes for me to educate you in the way of our higher society. If you associate with the poor, it will only make you look worse in the eyes of those who are of our class. You need to be willing to work as a doctor for those of higher standing.
She's like trying to wrap her head around it, because in the hedge, I'm assuming she treated anyone regardless of what they were. So she's like,
Yeah, basically. I mean, there was a class divide, but you were in the middle of a war, so it's technically like anyone who, as long as they were on your side, was pretty much fair game.
Yeah, that's what I would think. Like, it doesn't matter if they're a hobgoblin or lower class.
And hell, sometimes you treat enemies, even if just to be just as a matter of
as to feed.
Your keeper wasn't really very strict in terms of telling you, okay, you can't use your. Yeah, he would have been very lenient on, you have this talent, you should use it to help people. I don't care, as long as you do your job, like, manage these things for me, do what I say, and you can use your talent on whoever you want. That's
pretty nice, lenient a little bit.
You're in the middle of a war, but he doesn't really care if you experiment on, the enemy.
Also, oh yeah, by the way, is Lisa far away as he comes up to scold me?
No, she would be there unless she's moved.
Sorry.
It's fine.
So anyway, where were we?
I was just explaining to
I was
to,
getting
you know,
scolded by my
Alden.
dad.
Alden was saying, "Hey, you shouldn't associate with the poor because I'm supposed to be training you to help our higher society." And you got committed at the trial because they think you're lower class, and now you're talking to the poor and trying to help them. Like, it doesn't look good on you if you do that.
Why wouldn't it? What is the problem with helping the poor?
She should be focusing her efforts on patients that are actually of her station.
That's not a vampire thing. That's just Victorian society, isn't it?
That's yes, effectively. That's more of a Victorian thing than a vampire thing. Yes.
Yeah, I thought so. Oh well.
I wonder when the class system will fall in on itself.
Don't say such things.
I'm not to speculate for a better tomorrow.
Better. You believe it would be better for these? He motions over to the people kind of throwing food at each other. These ingrates to walk the streets and cause chaos among our city?
I don't know. It's not necessarily their fault if they are in this situation.
We should discuss this away from them.
Fair enough. I need to go hunting anyway.
All right.
Maybe you wish to come with me?
He like checks a watch. He like pulls out a little like he pulls open a watch, one of those little stopwatch type of things. Looks at it. I should probably be going, but you can escort Charlotte home.
Doesn't she need to go back to your house to get belongings?
He like shakes
I
his.
have no belongings.
She has, yeah, exactly. She says it.
Oh,
first.
I see.
Except for this, and she pulls out like a small book.
Okay, very well then.
And I'm assuming your scalpel as well, but
You
everything.
can come.
I'm not gonna just pull out a scalpel on
Well,
the
no,
street.
but you have it with you, is what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, I'm just not. I'm not gonna just show people like my only weapon.
Right.
Very well, you can come with me then. Just give me a moment, unless you wish to go feed with me.
No, I already fed, thank you. Though, I suppose I could go for a little bit more.
As you wish.
It is
Time to piggyback off you again.
It is technically once per scene. So,
All right, so never mind.
if we start a new, no, I'm saying if Lisa starts a new scene, then technically you can feed again.
Lisa, start a new scene so I get a Big Mac.
Okay, so
So where do you go to hunt? Let's start with that. Do you have a particular place, or are you just going to like find, because you don't have a feeding ground, so it would just be sort of open for you to choose.
okay, well, let me see. I am going to look for a restaurant, maybe.
Okay, that sounds good. More of a closer to, so this would be a good question. So if you're looking for a restaurant, is it more is it like a bar where you'd have people kind of tussling, more middle class type of place, or is it more like a Deva Elysium or something where they have more refined kind of people who are dining on tea and such?
I am trying to figure out where it would be easier to get her prey. I don't want to go to the box ring again because last time I almost frenzied.
Correct. And you're not even sure if that place is open at this point.
True. I will go to a middle class bar, I think.
Okay.
I'm afraid if I go somewhere with more refined taste, I might attract attention. Should I do something in frenzy?
Correct. So, it's I don't think it's the middle of the night necessarily, but it's late at night. You walk into a bar and mostly men there. You get a few whistles as you come in because you're quite attractive. There are a few men sitting at the bar. There's bartender. There's some people at the booths kind of sitting, drinking, that kind of thing. A lot of the men are surprised that you're here. They actually kind of give you strange kind of looks back and forth as you come in, and then some of them whistle at you. I would like you to make me a perception check, please.
Can I make a sneak roll to get in unnoticed?
Sure, but I want you. This is actually very important. I want Lisa to make me a check with adding their blood potency, so like with kindred senses.
So wits plus composure plus blood potency.
Yeah, please.
Okay, so that would be 7 dice.
Yeah.
Three successes.
3 successes. What you determine is that in this bar there are some very muscular-looking men towards the back end who are sitting at the bar. They definitely don't smell human.
Daddy.
They have this very sort of sweaty, sort of primal smell that you would immediately identify as being very dangerous, just on an instinctual level. And they're kind of glaring towards you. You don't think they've noticed anything yet.
Oh crap!
You would have an idea that if you wanted to feed here, you'd probably need to get some people out of the bar, because if you feed in the bar with these kind of people watching, it might cause a scene.
Okay. Oh God. What mess did I put myself in?
Oh, can I do
Yeah, so you're rolling a sneak roll. So
and a medical roll to investigate the people, or
well, you're doing a sneak, so you're sneaking first. So Dex stealth, and I will give you a +1 because it is fairly dark and it's nighttime. And
Alright, so then, and I'm also going to be using my specialty of Street Owl. So essentially, what I'm using for stealth is I'm not noticeable because I'm just an average street person,
right?
Versus this gorgeous vampire that walked in.
Blending in. Are you trying to get in through the back door? How are you trying to get in? Are you trying to blend in with Lisa as they're coming in, but come in unnoticed, or are you trying to go in?
It's more like essentially when we reach the door, or essentially when we start to approach the door, I essentially detach from Lisa because I noticed that
just hide somewhere. Yeah,
she looks like a very prominent figure. Versus if I go, essentially, I believe that if I go in by her side, I'm going to attract attention to myself. So I sort of enter in right after her. So while all the attention is focused on her.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I'll still give you a +1. That makes sense. And then you get a +1 for your specialty.
All right. So I have 8 dice.
Yep.
May I attempt an Auspex roll?
I am.
Please. You can definitely make an Auspex roll.
All right.
I got 3 successes. I'm sneaky.
Where do you want to be hiding? Do you want to be closer to the bar, at the booth, in the middle of where do you want to be? Because
I'm going to choose some middle ground between the door and So could you maybe describe the layout of the bar a little bit for me?
So yeah, there are some booths on the west side that kind of line that's part of the bar. Then there's a bar on the right side, and then there's a middle area. So there are booths here, bar here, and then the middle is kind of curved out like a T.
And then all the men are gathered in the middle part?
Most of the people are you see that there are there are the two guys who are sitting at the edge of the bar who are staring at Lisa. Then you have there are some guys scattered around the bar, but there's probably one booth that would be empty that you could like sit in and be inconspicuous.
All right, so I'll probably take like a seat at one of the booths and basically just pretend I don't exist as I study the room.
So Lisa, you're rolling for Auspex. It's free,
Yes.
so you can go ahead.
It's free? Good.
First
Let's
use
go.
is free.
2 successes, so I get 1 question, correct?
And that's correct.
Okay. Well, initially I was gonna ask who was more likely to give me what I wanted,
It's a good question.
but given the situation, I will rather ask who here is most likely to be aggressive toward me.
You actually would be surprised by the answer. The men who are there's probably at least a few men by the booths who are more actively like staring at your body and like kind of interested in you physically, and you can kind of pick up on that with the beast. It's giving you these like seductive like energies that are coming off of them. You can see the sweat coming off of their body, the flushness of their faces, and the way that they're drunk. They actually seem a lot more unstable. The people who are at the bar that you identify as being something more primal, something unknown, something dangerous, you notice they kind of stare at you, but they're mostly just like they're not focused on you. They're just kind of sitting there. They look like they're minding their own business. Like, of course they notice you when you come in, but initially, but then they kind of just go back to the bar and they're like talking with each other. Maybe they're whispering about you. You can't tell. They're kind of talking to themselves at the bar. You're further away. But the men who are kind of looking at you and they're drunk, they seem like they might make a move on you, which it might be what you want, but they seem like they might not, they might have some kind of, they might be more dangerous to you, in fact, than the people who you might immediately assume are dangerous. But the men actually don't seem like they would have a problem with just grabbing at you or something.
Okay.
What's your defense, speaking of?
My defense?
Yeah.
Including celerity?
Yes.
That would be 5.
Okay. Cool.
So,
yeah. Give me a sec. Okay. Yeah, you can actually see one of the men kind of try to reach, for your maybe your thigh or like as you're passing. But you're very, even without using celerity, you're able to just kind of, if you wish, you can accept it, but they're kind of just trying to grab at you, but you're very nimble. You could just avoid them entirely if you choose.
I will avoid them for now.
Yeah. So definitely there are some men that are grabbing at you, like as you get close to one of the booths, but you're able to just.
Okay, so I walk to the guys with primal aura.
Okay. They don't seem to notice you immediately. They're just kind of talking, and they're kind of they don't like actively. They're not like growling at each other, but they just have lower, registered voices. You would tell that like something is kind of off about them, but like it's not immediately super obvious. Like, oh yeah, they're not normal, but they do have a slightly lower register to their voice. Like they sound like they have very deep voices. They might have like a -1 social penalty or something in normal cases, but for you, it's not really a weird thing.
I want to study them.
So
do I. So do
okay.
I.
So who wants to go first here?
So I approach them. And,
okay. So you'll approach them first, but Charlotte, you can do so afterwards after they make their move.
Hello.
One of them kind of turns around. He's just like, "Hey, what are you doing in a place like this?" He's looking around. He's like, "This isn't very good place. I would suggest you get out before someone decides to cause trouble."
Fair enough. I'm sorry, I was just... I don't know, I think you people look interesting. So
interesting, huh? You look interesting yourself.
Do I?
The other one turns around. Hey, don't. He's just like putting his head on his shoulder. He's like, hey,
I don't give a shit about him.
Charlotte, so how are you examining them particularly? Like, what are you looking for?
I guess I'm mainly looking for their anatomy.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to roll for that. I mean, they look pretty normal. They're just maybe slightly hairier than normal. They smell really bad, but other than that, there's nothing really very weird about them.
All right, so basically they look like a pair of like labor hand workers.
Yeah, they look like they might be, dock workers, or they look like they do a lot of heavy lifting, but other than that, they don't really look abnormal from the outset.
All right, this is good. These are people I want favors from. Nova, why did you make me remove it? /chat.
You want to go up to these guys, ask them for help? You know what? I dare, go ahead if you like. If you lose if they tear you in half, I'm not responsible for that.
Viewer discretion, I'm not responsible. Charlotte gets torn in half like a piece of paper. I understand, all right. I'm just gonna sit back and watch for now.
All right, so you're sitting back and watching. So we go back over to Lisa.
I'm just curious, what are people like you doing here? If you think this is.
Oh well, this is we come here pretty often. They look at the bartender and he just kind of nods. He's like, yeah, we're friends. He's our friend. They tapped the bar. He's our friend. I can't speak for everyone else though. He's like looking at one of the guys who tries to grab you, and they're just like laughing and drinking. You see that? Look,
horrible person.
She's looking at me. Look, she's looking at me. She's looking at me. Look at that. She's looking over here. Look, she's watching us. Hey, maybe I should ask her out. Like they're like just kind of laughing and then like making jokes about you.
That's not how you court a woman, Ree.
I am pretty sure they don't care much about how you treat a woman.
Rip.
But honestly, I am not worried about that.
I really hope you actually said that. I really hope you actually said that's not how you treat a woman.
I didn't. That was out of the game.
No, that's fine. I really wanted Morgan to be like, that's not how you treat a woman.
Oh, that's Charlotte internally like, Ree.
That's your character all the time. Ree.
That's what banshees do.
I'm hungry for glamour. Ree.
So meanwhile, so Charlotte, sorry, I just realized this would be a good, if you want to feed off of these people who are like having a good time, that would be also an option for you while Lisa's doing their thing.
What would be the role to feed off people having a good time?
It'd be up to you how you want to interact with them. If you're just watching, I think I could have you roll for just, observation usually isn't the best kind of role to make because it's not very active, but technically it's allowed, I think. If you just want to watch, because it says, it has to be a skill. So it has to be a skill that you're using. So it'd be up to you what you think would be appropriate here.
I am looking through my skills. All right, you could keep going to your scene. I'm gonna keep looking.
Sure, you keep looking. So, so Lisa, you're talking to them. You can see that other people are making fun of you and having a uproarious sort of time.
I will take care of them later. But for now, so I try to speak with these people. So
yeah.
So, look, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I am making you uncomfortable.
Oh, no, it's fine. You haven't done anything yet.
I just would like to, to talk to.
Yeah, not a lot of people want to talk. Honestly, it's all, hey, get out of here. Hey, don't talk to us. Hey, if you don't get out of here, we're gonna call the sheriff. It's never, oh, we want to talk.
This guy's so sympathetic. I love him.
He gets off the table, the chair.
The chair.
She likes to come here sometimes, make sure that we're not causing a problem. She thinks that all we want to do is cause a problem. We're not doing anything, right, Jim?
Out of game. The sheriff isn't an actual position in Victorian society. It's a vampire thing.
Oh, yeah. They're actively talking about the sheriff. but it's not really a term that's very specific. So none of the people there are like, very surprised when he says that. It's a term that he could use generally without arousing suspicion, but it's something that you recognize. You know what he means.
Okay, so I give a look behind me, then I ask them a bit while lowering a little my voice.
Yeah.
You are neither kindred nor kind, aren't you?
We don't need to have this discussion. We're leaving. He shoves the other guy. But I'm not done with my drink. No, we're leaving. We're leaving.
Okay. I am sorry. I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable.
Oh no! It's fine. Oh, he bows to you like this, big, like he's making fun of you. He's like, oh, how dare I intrude upon your grounds? That's all they like to do. They like to claim all these places as their territory. What are we left with? He's like, just don't start. they start kind of move hunched over, trying to get past you, and move for the exit.
Look, I am not trying to tell you to leave or anything. I am just curious, as I said.
Just don't ignore. It's like they start moving. Moving.
Oh, I'm gonna make a persuasion roll towards them.
Oh, okay, sure.
So my character's gonna sort of she's sort of gonna stagger and walk towards one of them.
Okay.
And she's gonna sort of glance fearfully at the rowdy bunch, and she's like, "Please don't go. I'm afraid of what they might do to the place if you're not here."
So for practical purposes, they crit failed. So the one guy looks over at you, and they're like,
I mean, I have 8 dice loaded, so fuck you either way.
She's pretty cute. Maybe we could stay.
Charlotte does. Charlotte puts her two puts her fingers to her cheeks, sort of forces her face into a smile.
Listen, if you don't want to be here, you can go. I'm gonna stay. Okay, fine, whatever. The guy, Jim, he's out. Jim just he kind of just ducks out of the place. But his friend, he stays. He sits next to Charlotte. Kind of, he's pretty big. So his arm is huge, and he kind of just puts it down on the table next to Charlotte. It's
so
hey,
what's your name?
Frederick.
Frederick.
It's German, I think.
Oh.
I am sorry. I had no idea you had problem with my people before.
Are you just walking over when they're saying this?
Are you talking to Frederick?
Yeah, are you talking to Frederick?
This is my man now. Excuse you.
He sort of has, he looks very German, so he has this sort of very stereotypical German sort of features. His hair is very long and sort of matted. It's not very well kept.
He is the only one left, isn't he?
Yeah, he's just he has probably long blonde hair and very fierce looking kind of eyes.
Okay, well, I tell him what I just said. And,
yeah, okay. Do you sit in the booth? Because there's an open seat on the other side. So the two of them are here. You could sit on the other. Or are you just going to stand?
I am going to stand for now.
Okay. So Frederick's got his arm on the table. He's looking over at Charlie. He's like, hey, he's kind of, he's got issues with the city. But I'm kind of new here. So he was trying to show me around. I kind of like the place. It's not like home, but it's very, it has its charm.
Oh, where did you come from?
I don't think he'd want me to say.
Look, I am not gonna insist, but if you see him again, tell him I just wanted to talk and I wasn't trying to chase you or to force you to leave or anything.
He's not used to having good working relationships with anybody, to be honest. even with me and my friends, he, always wants to start a fight with someone. But he's strong, so we stick by him.
I didn't mean to offend anyone. I was just curious because, as I said, you don't seem to be kindred. You are not kings, so I was wondering what you were.
Well, it's your whoever's hasn't told you about us. He doesn't know the word. He's just your whatever. Whoever's in charge of you. I don't follow your.
If you mean their leader, you mean the prince?
Oh, Prince. Your Prince?
I think the people in the booth behind you are like, "Hey, look, they know the prince. You think she's royalty? I don't know." They're like laughing and
I give them the death stare.
Shutting up. They like just stop.
Yeah. Listen, Ion mentioned a few. Ion mentioned not far from here. If you ever wish to visit me, you will be welcome.
Sure. You like give him the address and such?
Yes.
Okay. He's like, well, if I'm in the mood to have a, conversation, maybe. I'm not going to bring Jim. He doesn't like talking. He'd probably rough up your place, but we can talk if you want. I personally don't have any issues with this whole loose agreement that we have. But there's a lot of hostility that I've seen. It's very interesting to me. I'm not very familiar with the local people, but it seems like your kind, they hold a grudge.
I see.
Oh, you'll have to forgive me. I've been quite in a daze the last few, weeks it seems. What agreement are you talking about?
Well, I'm
asking the man.
Yeah, he doesn't really give a solid answer. He's like, they mentioned something about an agreement. I don't know what. They're trying to prevent. My elder said they're trying to prevent. I think he says like my alpha or something. He says the word that William would use. He's like, well, my alpha said that they're trying to prevent a war.
Oh, wars are such nasty things. I participated in one a little while back. It wasn't dreadfully fun.
You don't seem like a warrior.
I'm a doctor.
You don't seem like a doctor either.
Oh. Well, perhaps if you ever get injured, I could show you my skill sometimes. You'd be quite surprised.
I wouldn't need your help.
If he is what I think he is, he wouldn't.
Yeah. He kind of slides out of the booth. I should probably go. They're going to be looking for me if I stay any longer.
Okay. I have a good night, Frederick.
Yeah, you too. Good luck. Don't start a war. All that. Goodbye. He slides away.
Sure, gives a small wave goodbye.
I smile. And I do mean a nice smile. Not
good.
Not
a right. Okay. So now you're left. You still need to feed, and you know that feeding off of these drunk people would probably get you drunk, but it wouldn't be permanent. So but that's something worth considering.
Okay. Well.
If you touch me while you're drunk, I'm gonna break your ribs.
Do you say that in character?
Nah, she's gonna glance at the drunk people. Like, are you actually going to try and feed off them?
Well, I do have to drink before I go back home.
Perhaps Would you like me to get one for you?
Thank you, but I think I already got their attention, to say the least.
Yep, basically.
Very well.
But if I fail to do so, I would welcome your help.
As you wish.
So I start walking around and, well, are they still trying to rob me or anything?
At this point, no, they're just mostly talking to each other.
Okay. Well, I will try. I will try getting the attention of at least one of them again.
Sure.
So what should I roll?
You're trying to get their attention. To get their attention and probably get them to go up, I don't think it would necessarily. I think it'd be easy enough where they would just come with you. It's just the feeding would be it wouldn't be that difficult for you to lure them away. I don't think, because they're pretty drunk, and they'll pretty much do whatever. Because you have high enough, your beauty and your clothing and all this would probably be enough to convince them.
Okay, then I try to lure one who seems the most the most healthy of them.
It would really only be a challenge, if you were trying to. It'd be really only a challenge if you're trying to lure a group of them. If you're trying to, because you could probably feed off of a few of them at once if you wanted, but that'd be more difficult. That'd be the only reason why this would be hard.
I will try that then.
Okay. So then in that case, it's just going to be like a -2.
So what would that be?
It would be presence plus probably like persuasion,
Okay.
and then you get your bonuses from your clothing and the striking looks is the word I was looking for.
What was the first bonus you said?
It was -2 penalty for multiple targets.
Okay, -2 plus 1 for striking looks.
Yeah, and then
so I have presence 2, persuasion 2, so that will leave me with 3 dice.
cool. And Charlotte can help if they choose, if they'd like, because they can help in this action as well. And
Well,
probably
I was planning on feeding on them by sneaking around as a street gal and essentially indulging in the happiness of the night where these men think they're going off to have a good time.
I'll allow it. Yeah, you're just going to entertain them and look pretty, and then that'll get you the glamour that you want. Sure, but I'm still gonna have it help Lisa just so that she can get more.
Oh, sure. I could even help with the persuading if you need it. Yeah.
So you just can roll your it'll be, I'll give you you don't get the specialty though, but you would get it basically would be I guess it would be persuasion. So it basically would be the same thing.
Persuasion, manipulation.
Persuasion and presence.
Presence. God, I have to figure out how to do something else without that. All right, but yeah, I gotcha. I'll roll the 5 dice.
Yeah. Okay.
You already have more dice than me.
I'm a piece of shit. That's why.
Well, technically, I have 5 dice, but -2,
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So roll them 5 dice. I get 3 successes. All right.
Okay.
Give me glamour. I'm
So
hungry.
you'll get 3 glamour from that, and then you'll also give Lisa 3 dice.
Okay, so I get 2 dice. Nice.
All right. I'm very fed.
Because I'm just imagining it's more like you're coming over and then Charlotte's coming over. You're both kind of getting guys off of the table, and you're both working together on this.
I have sex with one of them for fun.
Do you want to?
I
Okay.
will spend the willpower for good measure.
Sure, not a bad idea, I don't think.
Plus, I think it makes sense in the game because Lisa would probably need some willpower to He basically plays seductress when she is not really comfortable with that usually.
Fair enough. Makes sense to me too. This is not this is more comfortable for Charlotte, but not for you.
Okay, so that will be night dive.
Although Charlotte's also very shy, so I think it's awkward for both of you, to be honest.
Okay, let's see. 4 successes.
Very nice. Almost a crit, but not quite.
Charlotte's not shy. She's a bitch.
But that does make it very easy for you to lure over, I'd say, a good, maybe the whole table. So you get like the whole table. I'll be generous. So, you get like, a few guys, they're all drunk. They're very confused. And if you fed on them quickly enough, you could probably just start taking, and they would be very out of it by the end of the whole thing. And they probably wouldn't even remember what happened because they're so drunk.
Fair enough. Okay, so how much vitae does that give me?
So how much vitae do you like? Are you at 5? I don't remember exactly.
I was at 5, yes.
Okay, so what I'll say here is, what I'll say is that it would depend on if you want to knock them out or not. That'd be up to you.
You say there are 4 guys, right?
Yeah, you could have like, you could take a bit from each of them, or you could try to knock one of them out, or something. It would depend.
I will take a bit from each of them.
Okay, so then effectively it'll round out to about 4 vitae.
That seems reasonable.
I don't want to give you too much, but it would be around 4.
Okay, so I get to 9 vitae.
And, because of the kiss, they're all very confused. They think they're still drunk, and you've already kind of brought them aside, and they don't really understand what's actually happening. And they're also kind of weak and tired a little bit because of Charlotte's kind of sirening them. So you have, like, by the time you're done with them, you just kind of sit them back down, and they're just like, oh. And they just kind of lay down, and they keep drinking, but they don't feel very well. So most of them after that just go home. And the bartender just kind of gives odd looks to the both of you, but that's about the only, suspicion that you receive. And it's not like they see you feeding. But like when you come back into the bar after that you've brought them into like out back, the bartender's just like looking at you, the two of you women, like are you like? He doesn't say outright, but he has this look on his face like he thinks that you guys might be like professionals, women, or night workers or something like that. I'm
gonna persuade him I'm not a night worker.
Do you like go up to the bar? You want to talk to the bartender? Because he's giving you this like odd look. What do you say to him?
I will, yes.
Okay, so both of you sit down.
You'll have to forgive me for taking away your customers for the night. They were being much too rowdy.
I don't have a problem with that. It seems like everyone left after you came in. Is it
I tend to have that presence.
I'm sorry.
It happens.
Did they do anything to you?
No, we are fine. Thank you. I appreciate your attention.
One of them almost vomited on me. That's about it, really.
Well, that's terrible. I'm sorry. He puts a drink away, like he's playing with the drinks on the shelf.
If I might ask.
Yes.
How often do those burly men at the front bar come in?
He thinks about it for a bit. He doesn't seem too sure at first. Like he actually has to think about it. He says, "Oh, they come in maybe twice a week."
I see. Well, I'm trying to think of what to say. Shit.
They look like they, it's kind of funny to me. Usually they seem like the type who would start a fight, but they're always kind of calm. Sometimes they come in smelling kind of weird, but
they smell weird?
He nods. He's like, sometimes I get a whiff of blood, but I don't ask questions.
Well, perhaps. Well, they do look like heavy workers. Perhaps they hurt on the job or the
More
like.
like thugs, if you ask me.
I don't know. I discussed with them. They seem pretty nice.
Yeah, no, they seem that way for sure, but I don't.
They were
I'm not gonna-
surprisingly well mannered. Well,
I'm not gonna turn away their business.
as nobody should.
I get plenty of strange people in here. A few days ago, I got this really weird girl came in asking about blonde chicks. I don't know. Weird.
Asking about blonde chicks.
I don't know if they meant birds or what.
Just curious, what did she look like?
He kind of describes this woman wearing like a long sort of black dress with very strange colored hair that's like almost pink, like bright pink.
Oh.
That's indeed rather strange.
I see. Interesting. But not totally unheard of before.
Oh, I've never seen anybody like that in my life.
They're a common thing where I'm from.
Where are you from?
Alright, here's where I use my subterfuge. Hooah!
Yeah, you don't need to lie. He's not like he'll probably believe whatever you say.
Well, you see, I'm a doctor, and well, sometimes we deal with very odd cases, men, women.
You think she might have some kind of disorder? Is that why her hair's like that? That's what she told me.
She told you she had a disorder, and that's why her hair was like that.
Is that not? He's like, is that not common?
I personally believe there are no connections to physical deformities to deformities of the mind, but it has not been unheard of that some stresses of the mind have affected the outward appearance of such things. For example, it goes on to a medical rant about how
Especially in Victorian era, they actually, I believe that that's sort of part of the mentality of the time. They believed that if you were, you were mental, it would manifest physically. That's part of where the Jekyll and Hyde comes from.
in most cases I've seen it doesn't usually manifest, but in some cases I've seen where, for example, if someone's exposed to extreme stress, the melatonin will drain from their hair. It's basically the stuff that gives your hair color. It will drain, and you'll have white hair before you're even 30 years old.
Well, regardless, I've never seen anyone of that nature before. They were quite an interest. They complained that I didn't have tea in a bar. What kind of person comes to bar for tea?
Grab tea.
What kind of person comes to a bar for tea at night?
She seemed like a pretty eccentric person from what you see.
Oh, of course. The most eccentric person I've seen all week. And that includes the two of you.
Oh.
Well, if she comes around and gives you trouble or starts causing anything rambunctious, perhaps you can contact me and I could help you out with her. I am trained to deal with these individuals, and if they are...
Oh, perfect. I will contact you right away. My name is
Alright, we exchange contact information. Yeah. I'm staying at Lisa's place, whatever,
Aaron, I guess.
Aaron Austin, my classmate. Sweet.
Yeah.
Excellent.
But it's spelled with like an E. No, it's not Aaron, it's Aaron.
Okay. Well, thank you for your... Thank you. This was quite enjoyable discussion.
One skill you need to have as a DM is being able to make up names on the spot. I mean, no, I had that name prepared. Of course I did.
Of course you did. You didn't improvise at all, Nova. You're a smart cookie.
No, I'm good. I'm good at it. Of course. So moving on, I'm just gonna make a note here in my section. I was wondering if Silver was prepared or not, because I would want to go to them next. But if they're not available, I'll move on to somebody else.
So, well,
I recommend moving on to someone else real fast.
Okay, no problem. I can do.
so,
I'll still be able to do my stuff in the session.
Yeah, of course, of course.
so
I'll
just
move
to,
on.
just to clarify, I guess Charlotte and me go back to the mansion now.
Yeah, of course. That would be what we do in intervening. I'm just gonna skip
Yes.
forward.
Thank you. You can move to the next one. I just
Okay.
want to make that sure of that.
So all the events going on now would take place during the next day. So this would be the day after. So
How does one heal clarity damage?
that's a good question. You have to, in order to heal clarity damage, the fastest way is to interact with your touchstone. But but for right now, we're moving on to the next day.
All right, gotcha. Thanks.
I'll probably name the bar eventually, but I'm just putting a placeholder here.
Wait, does that mean I would have healed my clarity damage during my dream sequence because that was my touchstone now?
That's a good question. No, it has to be a direct interaction. Because
I gotta go
in a
from
dream,
my
you could
batch.
create. That would be kind of unfair, because then in a dream you could just create whatever. It's like, well, if William wanted to have unlimited food, he could just go into a dream and then eat anything he wanted, and then come out, and he would get all of his clarity fully healed whenever he chose.
He's a
That would-
genius then.
Well, of course, but I don't necessarily. I think it has to be more personal than that.
All right, now I gotcha. Makes sense.
And even if it's an interaction, it also has to be a very deep personal interaction. It can't just be like, oh, well, I'm eating and it's a thing I'm doing in the background, so I get my thing right. No, it has to be like important to the scene.
All right, I gotcha.
I'm just making notes on everything that happened. And then so for Lisa, you'd need to mark off another vitae as well. And then for Alistair, I will mark it for you real quick. Just so we have that settled.
Okay, I still have 8 vitae, so I think it's not a big.
Good.
I have a glamour. Hell yeah.
And just so you guys know, Alistair has 6, which isn't a bad number. A good
Alistair's also a poopy head.
number. Well, that's not very nice.
Okay,
They're
just
muted
for
against
info,
shit.
I misheard what you said. At least I hope I did. Not you, Brandon.
What? Sorry, what did you mishear me?
You said Alistair at 6, right?
Yes, that's correct.
I heard Alistair at 6.
Oh, I did not mean to say that.
Okay, I am reassured now. Sorry.
Listen. If I had sex, it would not be it would not be something that's publicated. Besides,
you have some extra cameras I put in your place.
whoa. Besides, my character is small. She looks kind of like a child, so I don't know about that.
Oh, so you're one of those people. All right.
Let's stay away from this topic.
Sorry.
What do you mean, one of those people? What are you, a lolicon?
Sorry, I missed that. Sorry, I missed that.
The mic just drops me.
Okay.
You just dropped the mic.
So,
All right, I'm gonna mute now. You guys continue.
first thing I want to do is I want to check to see if William is asleep. Are you here?
Yes, I was technically asleep.
Oh, that's good. Are you feeling okay?
Yeah.
All right. Well, the main thing I wanted to do with the next night was kind of catch you up to speed with what you missed while you were away in character. So the main things that would be discussed with you as you're waking up are the whole incident with the letter that Roland provided to everybody, including Lisa, about the possibility of someone named Princess abducting, Alistair, and the whole, he wants to, even though the prince wants to remain neutral, he doesn't really. He wants to see if he can gather allies against this and figure out what he wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
And he also mentions information about the gate that is presumably to some other place that he has found in his backyard, effectively. And he would also note this is actually no, sorry, scratch that, forget it. I was gonna say something and then
I imagine like William kind of like gets up alert when he hears Princess, like
right. Yeah, you don't need to roll to know who they are because, as I explained on your sheet, you would be aware of them from before.
Yeah, so William's going to probably take this time to kind of dock out and like find this portal on his own.
Yeah, it doesn't take you very long. I'm not going to make you roll to, because normally you'd need to roll to find it magically, but since Roland has given you the location of it, you don't necessarily need to like roll to locate it because you'd be given the general area. Now to confirm it actually is there, you'd need to roll. But if you would assume, it definitely looks strange from where you're standing. So I don't think you necessarily need to make any kind of notice.
I was gonna say, could I roll to confirm because I still have that contract with the prince or that thing with the prince?
Which one?
I have his scent.
His scent. So I don't understand what that has to do with this.
Well, it's behind his backyard, so.
No, this is Roland's backyard.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
It's fine. But do you want to look into the hedge gate with your senses?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll just make sure it's safe. Like.
So that's going to be a kenning roll. So that's going to cost you a willpower.
All right.
And then you roll your total clarity. So assuming you have no boxes marked, it's just your total.
Let me just one Lumiere.
Oh, I roll. Sorry, it's a secret roll. So I roll it to determine if you find anything.
All right.
Right, that is how it works. But what is your? I need to know your clarity.
Well, I don't have any clarity damage.
Right. So what's the total?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Well, that's a result. I can't give you the details, but I will say that you notice that there are a variety of effects and specific things that you notice about this particular portal. What you notice is that there are there is a portal. So just to give you the description, I wrote it in text, but I'll describe it again to you now. So as you go towards the portal, there's this billowing of smoke that comes out of the of this alleyway that kind of, it seems like it stretches off into nowhere. So if you were to step through the smoke, you would enter into the hedge on the other side. And you can see the smoke actually billowing out of the alleyway like it's a fog machine or something. It's very intense. And if a mortal were to wander through here, they might be lured inside by the temptation of the hedge. But since you're a changeling, of course, you're not forced or lured inside. And you also notice, this is actually something you in particular would notice that Alistair, when he was investigating, wouldn't. This is an extra piece of information. You notice that there are tracks that gleam with glamour, animal tracks that you've noticed. So you realize that this is where the enchantress had been sending her scouts out from this gateway, which is why they've been appearing lately.
Okay.
At least more frequently.
Mm-hmm.
And then Howell jumps in. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. Yeah.
Do
No, there's
the tracks kind of like lead off anywhere, or?
So they actually, you would determine that most of these tracks would end at a certain point as they kind of fly up into the air.
Okay.
So there might, and you determine that there are several tracks. So that means there might be a few owls lingering around besides just the one that you found.
Yeah. Hmm.
So I also ask Aravok, because you would also be active during this time. Do you want to have any interaction with anybody? I'm going to move to you. So as everyone's waking up in the manor and kind of reflecting on what's going on, you see William just like leave after hearing about the letter. What is Aravok doing here?
Let's see. What is Aravok doing? Probably not a hell of a lot of much.
Right. Are you just like sitting in the lobby and just observing the situation? And after William leaves, you don't make any attempt to do anything, regarding, following him, because he did you mention like where you were going, or did you just run off?
I just kind of ran off because I assume everyone was asleep.
Okay. So yeah, as you're waking up, you see William kind of run off. Alistair's there as well. And Charlotte and Elisa and now Charlotte are kind of probably talking in the lobby somewhere. And Mikhail's off doing other business. So everyone who is here is here.
Everyone is here.
Except for William, who is effectively ran
way too much
off to the portal. I will mention also to this is important. Before I cut, I want to mention this to William because this would be relevant for when I cut back to you. But as you're examining the portal, like once you kind of get out of your haze of like focusing on doing this and like looking at it immediately, and your magical senses kind of fade back into the background, you realize that Roland and Juliet are standing there like around the portal as well.
Mm-hmm.
Which portal?
The portal. So the portal in relation to you would actually be pretty close by because Roland lives in a development that'd be pretty close to yours. So it would probably be like a block or two down the street from where you're living. Something like that. It'd be fairly close. Like he lives in a housing community that's like not as high class, but it's close to where you live. So like a housing community that's like nearby. And then right outside of the community is where the alleyway is that leads into the hedge. So it's actually fairly close. Like that's why William could just run there because it's actually, not that far. So Aravok, would you like to do anything while everyone is sort of gathered here? You're not the one person that you notice is kind of out of place is Charlotte because they weren't here the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you see their true form, so that's worth noting as well. And you have no idea what exactly that business is.
I don't know. He'd probably eye Charlotte, but wouldn't exactly say anything. He's got nothing to say.
Okay.
As of the moment. No, he's more or less waiting for something to happen.
Okay.
Someone to say something at this point rather than actively seeking something out.
Yeah. Lisa, you're aware in character that Roland has basically asked everybody who is willing to join him in this investigation of Princess to meet him at the gate. But you have some time. You know, if you want to keep him waiting, you can do some more research or things like that.
Well, first I do want to do some research before I go.
Okay. So is Erevok in any way getting involved with this, or Charlotte getting involved with this research in any way?
I'd probably go and see the portal if I'm told about it.
Okay. So you go off to the portal.
I will solve my inspired condition for all on to research Princess.
Okay. So my question then is Erevok helping with the research? Or are you just staying, out of it?
He's not too concerned with research, really.
All right.
He's help out if asked, probably, but
He's in his room with his headphones on.
Does Lisa ask for Erevok's help then? That would be the next question.
I think
Because he knows about this stuff, so he would probably.
Actually, I do. I asked him, "Do you know about being known as Princess?"
Wait, like at the mention of Princess, like Charlotte shows visible disgust. Oh my god! Don't even start with her.
Why? What do you mean?
She's a rather disgusting creature. She's worse than my master, I heard, or close to it. Then again, my master was quite repulsive in his own way.
Just for context, I think that at this point, just so you understand where Alistair is, actually, so I said he was here, but because I remember from the text scene, he'd actually be at Roland's house. So Alistair isn't with you to hear this immediately. Because otherwise, I think they would be freaking out. But they are actually at Roland's haven. But you weren't made aware that they left, so you're not sure why they're missing. Because to clarify, the letter mentions that Alistair was the one involved with Princess. So you'd want to discuss this with them, but they aren't here, and you're not sure where they went. Although you know that they are Roland's child, so they might have gone with them.
What time of the day is it?
It's
nighttime?
It's nighttime now. Yes, it's the next night. So
well, considering that she went over there and probably stayed the night that time with Roland,
correct.
So it would be the next day if that's today.
Correct.
Then she'd probably be on her way back.
Correct. So you're on your way. You're on your way back.
Yeah, she's on her way returning. She's just not there yet.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
So that's just for clarity and context. So she is on her way back. So if they do try and go over there, they would meet her halfway.
Correct. Okay. So yeah, William, you also see Alistair leaving as well, their house, because they've been coming
from a trip to the bathroom.
Okay, sure, no problem.
All right.
Okay. Do I do my research for after all?
Yeah, so first I want Erevok to roll to help you.
Okay.
So it's going to be intelligence occult for him.
Intelligence occult, okay.
And I'll give you a bonus. I'll give you 2 dice because your keeper would have given you some information. So I'll represent that with a large bonus.
Let's see, 2 bonus dice plus intelligence plus occult, so 6 overall.
Yeah.
Groovy. So 2 successes.
Okay, so for Lisa, I'm just gonna roll something real quick for your butler.
You are. Oh, for a butler, yes.
I just saw what I missed in the settings, and I'm like, oh, I fell asleep during the werewolves.
Yes, you did. So
Feel horrible.
so you're getting 4 dice total from everyone helping. So it's going to be
Okay.
your library roll plus your plus 4 dice from everyone helping.
Okay, so intelligence 4 dice plus occult 3 dice, so 4, 6, 7, 8 dice plus library 9 dice, and I get plus 4, so that would be 13 dice.
13 dice, yes.
Nice. And I get exceptional success on 3 success instead of.
Because of your, yeah. Very easy for you to get something here.
Hopefully. Wow, 5 successes.
5 successes. Okay, so it is going to be exceptional. So it is very interesting to you what you end up determining, because you realize based on your okay, please, not now.
It's roughly midnight in London. The dogs are happy.
The dogs are getting me very frustrated. So when you look into the research, what you're able to find is that you don't actually have any books in your library that relate to whatever this creature is. You had books on, local folk tales of the enchantress. You had mentions of dragons, but princess is such a vague and nebulous thing. You have maybe, handful of books on princesses, handful, you might even have a copy of Lewis Carroll, that you or that Alistair might have. But it doesn't actually get you any closer to understanding what this being is. The only thing that you really kind of can relate to is that moniker, that title, that may be a mistranslation or maybe a misunderstanding. But the only clue that you really receive that could link you, as far as you've heard from Eravok and everything else, is that character, the Queen of Hearts.
Yes.
The character, the Queen of Hearts, the one who commands the. I'm going mostly by the movie, but
the Red Queen is also.
We'll just roll with it. Yeah, the Red Queen, the one who is violent and destructive and commands an army of card soldiers. That sort of Red Queen. They're not a princess, but as far as you've been able to determine, that's the closest analog you can find in a sort of a tale that might relate to their identity.
Interesting. Okay. So,
and in terms of a condition, I'm going to look through that, but you can talk to Eravok about it. For now, I'll look into condition.
Okay, so I remove the inspired condition and get 1 willpower.
That's correct. So you get and a beat, yes.
Okay, thank you.
My book is freezing. It's fine. Yeah. So do you discuss this with Eravok?
I do actually.
Okay. Or Charlotte, because I think Charlotte mentioned they were going to stick around for a bit longer.
I show them the result of my research.
You have this little board where it's like this weird, like, you showed them like a picture of like a chessboard, and it's like a red queen and then a bunch of other pieces, and then you're making like little notes on the middle of the board where everything's like blank.
How quaint.
And the problem is there's so much symbolism and it's so confusing that it's almost difficult for you to actually like decipher anything meaningful. But you kind of have a symbol that you can attach to her, but you don't think it's 100% correct because it's not a perfect translation 1-to-1.
Okay.
What the fuck did I do with that?
I think what I'll do here is I'll give you a clue that acts as a, I think it's like a +2 or something.
Okay, so clues about princess.
Yeah, I have to look at the clue rules because I think if you crit on a research roll, then you get something specific.
It's like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah,
know.
Ervok, you're not even 100% sure what to make of this research, even though you think you found a lead. It doesn't feel like you found anything.
I'm just looking at this picture. It's like it either belongs on some fucking indie heavy metal fucking album or, you know, something by Pink Floyd.
Right.
Floyd.
You know, this picture with the red fucking chick and the dragons and shit.
Okay, so yes, you're going to get a clue with +2, and then it says you also get a condition on top of that, so I will still give you a condition, but you get the clue and the condition.
Also, I had do research on princess as an aspiration, so...
Yeah, well, that'll be at the end of the session. We'll mark that off.
Oh, sorry.
It's fine. No, but it's a good question. Yes, that is worth noting.
Okay.
No, never mind my ramblings. Somehow I ended up in the wrong fucking tab.
It's fine. I feel like that's
I was looking through fucking Shattered Skies out of character.
Right.
Somehow.
Oh, we don't talk about that, chat. We don't talk about it all. It's forbidden.
And I'm like, what is yeah? Because oddly enough, it kind of seemed in context because I'm looking at this image of a red woman. I'm like, what the? It's like some.
I think what I'll do is I'll give you a condition here, but it won't necessarily be like informed or inspired. It'll just be a quick condition, so it'll be like a +2 to understanding Alice, Wonderland symbolism.
Okay,
so if you pick out anything that might be related to princess, you'd get a +2 bonus to putting it together.
How close do you think I am to the house by now?
You'd be at the entrance.
Okay. So I guess I'll knock at this point.
Okay, so there's a knock at the door as you're kind of trying to put together the pieces of this board. You're like, well, who's the bishop? And okay, wait, hold on. There's a knock. Like you're kind of like it's weird because as you're doing this research, it's almost confusing you. Like you're getting lost in all the symbolism and everything, and you can't even figure out. And then you just get a knock at the door. And you're worried the doorknob's going to start talking.
Starts to turn doorknob, but just starts to moan, Daddy more. It's like, what the fuck?
Do you, Morg, do you answer the door?
Sure, I'll answer the door.
Okay, so in the doorway, you see someone that you're not expecting. Charlotte, the banshee that you met at the dinner, who was also at the trial, but you guys have spoken before. He's in the doorway.
Hello, skeleton hands.
I like how that's just what you say to her. That's your first thing is just to comment about her hands. I'm trying to think of a witty retort right now.
I'm expecting her to be sympathetic, and she just hits you with the fucking skeleton hands.
I'm trying to think of
hello, freak.
Does she know that you're like a banshee? I forget if she knows.
She can see. You can see that. You can.
Yeah,
see
we
it.
had this conversation at the party where you talked about
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you specifically said banshee though. That's why I was questioning.
Well, I mean, I can't screech like a banshee yet. Sadly, oh fuck.
Did you hurt yourself?
I reached for something. Ow. Alright, I'm fine.
So she kind of just stares at you for a second and just brushes it off as she gestures. May I come in?
Sure, it's not my house anyway, though, so I don't really know.
I like how you're like, sure, why the fuck not?
The
Not my
butler,
place.
the butler who normally allows you in is like busy reading books and like trying to grab books and like
Yeah.
write on paper, like write notes. And
Um,
you see all over, Lisa's study. There's like a bunch of stuff marked in red and
I
like.
forget. Though, I gotta ask this really quickly because this would be important for if they arrive. Did you mention the word princess to my character before we were talking?
Nope.
All right. So I might mention.
She just mentioned to you about coming from the same place, like same kind of like place that you have.
All right. So she's like, though perhaps this was a bad time for you to come over. They're studying a rather disgusting fae.
Oh.
I feel like you'd almost hear Armand and like Lisa mumbling about like, oh no, it's a queen and a princess. That's not right. It can't be right. Throw that out. What's this about a hatter? We need to look into this.
Hey, wait! I just realized. Are they reading my book that I left there?
I think they wouldn't be like tearing at the pages, but I think they'd
No,
be
I
like,
know. I'm saying, is it the book I left here?
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
I don't
So-
think they'd be damaging it, but they'd be
No,
looking
I
through
know
it
they
for-
wouldn't be. I'm just saying she realizes that it's her book, so she's gonna like walk over and like try and ask what they're talking about because she heard mumblings, but she didn't hear it exactly right.
Rip me.
And I'm guessing everybody else is surprised now that she's here.
Well, I'm not sure how Eravok feels.
Oh,
But-
Erebok doesn't
maybe,
feel
but I'm talking
shit.
about-
Let's get
I'm talking-
up.
I'm talking about more like the butler and stuff. Also, me and Erebok are on pretty good terms actually, from what I experienced when writing with them.
The
Oh, yeah.
shit.
Ignore the banshee.
the butler doesn't seem to pay immediate attention to you when you approach, and Lisa seems to be like deep in.
Even though I'm talking
Deep in
directly
thought.
to him.
Yeah, like they're both very focused on this, and so once you kind of speak with them, he might notice
Erebok,
you.
they're
and-
busy researching. She tries not to vomit.
I don't know what.
You shall not be named. Who the fuck is that?
Who the
You
fuck
think
is
it's
this,
your
Voldemort?
the
Voldemort now?
the butler realizes they're handling your book, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, we didn't ask your permission. This was critical for our." He looks at Lisa. Their research.
She just kind of raises her brow and she goes, "What's this all about exactly?"
We
If I
found
may
it.
ask.
We found the clues. She's like holding up the chessboard with all the varied pieces, but they're all out of order and they're not right, and they're like
They're
maybe
researching princess.
maybe the board's upside down.
Okay, so when she hears fucking Wargi mention princess, she like kind of snaps like her body around to look at her, and she goes, "Wait, what?"
Oh, you know her too? I was able to get a lot of research on her done when I was during the war.
No. My question is, how do you know?
How do I know?
Yes. How? Where did you hear that name from?
I just told you I did a lot of research on her during the war. Do you have
And
cotton in yours today?
as for me, your sire told me her name.
He did what? Because keep in mind, like,
No,
he
you
doesn't
don't
know
know in
about the
character
fucking
about
letter.
this. No, you don't know about this.
Yeah, so she's like freaking out a little bit now.
I like how I told them I know who they're talking about, and they went back to researching. I didn't even say hey, I know all about this person. They're just like, we gotta go research. Fuck you. It's like, all right.
Well, you told me that you left the building at the time, so I was.
Oh, but no, because you said when Lisa was here before, I said at the mention of princess, she said, "Ew, I hate that one."
Right. Yeah, but they
Yeah,
didn't.
but
they-
I assume that was all you knew about it, actually. Sorry.
Right. They didn't know that you had done
Yeah.
extensive research.
So she is going to go over and close the book and just be like, "Listen, you don't want to get involved with this person at all.
Don't go down this rabbit hole.
Yeah,
Why?
please. Yeah, please. That's exactly how she words it. You don't want to go down this rabbit hole."
Why not?
She's very dangerous, extremely dangerous. I have never met a woman in my entire life that I fear more than her. And I'm a vampire.
Well, you were probably designed to fear her. Well, more conditioned, more like it, whether she wanted to do it or not.
Well, that
I'm
most
waiting for you.
disturbing.
Sorry, what'd you say?
That is most disturbing.
Yes, she is a woman that will all I can say is that you need to avoid her. I never want to meet her again, and the mere fact that she might be coming is enough to make me want to hide.
Oh, yeah. Wait, this gives me an idea. What color hair does she have?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Well, I guess Nova, what was her most recent hair color?
Very dark pink with like highlights.
Then yeah, I'll say that.
Oh. Well, the bartender recently told us there was a pink-haired woman demanding tea recently. And blonde.
Charlotte, please.
Can you roll a chance die for me, please?
Who, me?
No, Alistair.
Fuck, I'm gonna be a little shitter.
Great. Is this investigation or is this me trying not to freak out?
No, this is you trying not to freak out.
Oh, jeez. Wouldn't I have more, like, a better chance at this?
Yeah, that's why it's a chance die.
Why is it like? Oh, is it because there's a lot of penalties?
Oh, no, Lisa, I will
no,
say
chance
now.
die is good for this. You want to fail.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, cool.
It's
All
reversed.
right. Yeah. I'll roll it in the dice real fast. Hold on.
So, by the way,
What's
I
up?
forgot, but I asked Carmen to prepare a room for Charlotte.
Nah, fuck that. I slept in the closet.
I almost put it in D&D dice.
And
That would have been bad.
Is it really creating that much of a problem?
It was. I didn't even look at the lower one.
It's the second time that that's happened now. I'm worried.
I said I
Charlotte-
almost did.
Charlotte sort of makes her way towards Lisa and it's like, well, what are you actually looking for on her?
2, 8.
Because I already know a great deal about what you're talking
I
about.
succeeded. Fuck. Wow, 16
On a chance
die.
on a chance die, that doesn't count. It needs to be a 10. So
Okay, thank God.
if you want, I'll let you roll and you'll get a beat, but that's up to you.
Lisa, did you hear what I
let me
said?
roll again and get a beat? Is that what you're
It
saying?
would, yeah, because you roll on your weird the second time, so it'd be just another time.
Sure. I'll roll and get a beat for it.
Okay, cool. I'll go with
Another
that.
chance die?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
I'll
2,
mark it for you. Hold on.
0 successes.
Okay, so that's fine. You're fine.
Cool.
Nothing
And
changes. But
yeah,
yes,
thank you
okay.
for marking
Hear what I
it
said?
for me.
Yep.
Sorry, what'd you say?
I said I approached Lisa and I said that Charlotte said that she did quite a bit of research on the person they're researching right now if they need to know anything.
Yeah. So, Nova,
That's me.
for clarity and context, she's good.
You want more clarity, huh? I get it. I see.
Yeah, right.
I'm joking. of
she's
course.
gonna take a seat and kind of like explain to them the entirety of like in a summary of what happened over the course of the several years that she was abducted.
Do you include the part about your hands? Because
Yes.
okay, so that's going to be, I'm going to say 4 dice, and that's being generous.
Okay. And do I want to succeed in this or fail?
No, you want to fail.
Okay.
Time to get those 3 successes. Come on.
Yeah, right.
Do it.
Can I use will on this?
Yes, and it'll reduce 1.
It'll reduce 1. Okay.
Yeah.
Then yeah, sure, I'll do that.
Okay, so you'll spend willpower. It'll go down to 3 dice.
1 success. So
Okay.
and it's an 8.
So then that means that then you roll 1 more die again, please.
Okay.
And then you'll get another beat for this.
1 beat.
Yay, beats.
10, 2, 8. You're a success.
So you're able to. It's traumatizing for you, obviously, to recall
course.
your endurance, and you still don't have perfect details. You can't remember exact things, but you remember a lot of scattered scenes.
Yeah.
And the one that you might not even be able to speak about it is the part about your arms.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
everything else,
I'll choke it out.
Spooky, scary
I'll
skeletons.
roll again if you want me to try.
no,
and choke
you
it
don't.
out.
I'm just saying you wouldn't really remember in depth at this point because your weird isn't very high. So like you wouldn't remember details, but you remember it, but you just wouldn't remember exactly. It's too painful for you to remember anyway.
So she tells you all about like her experiences like inside of
There is something I want to
Inside of the-
clarify to you
inside of the hedge.
real
Yeah,
quick
what's up?
because this isn't something that you talked to me about, but this is something I wanted you to know.
Yeah, what's up?
When you met Princess the first time, it was in and this would be something you'd be telling them too.
Yeah, of course.
When you met her for the first time, it was in a forest. She was, she looked like she was injured, kind of because she was covered in bandages.
I know where this is from.
And even though you noticed that she didn't have any wounds of any kind, she, asked for your help and lured you into Arcadia with her.
Yep.
And then from that point on, you were subjected to
my suffering began, and I basically became Alice from like Wonderland.
Correct.
And he would also reveal that he is a boy, and that Princess.
No, you're not. No, I'm kidding.
Princess could conditioned
I'm kidding.
him
Kidding.
like viciously to be a girl, and that's why like even if he may be male, he acts extremely like a woman and looks very much like a woman.
This is
Well, that answers my question from the other day.
Yeah. Indeed it does. And he'll just kind of stand up and brush himself off and be... He looks extremely uncomfortable. He just told you guys literally all of his experiences that he could recall. She tortured him, like, on a daily basis. And on top of that, having to experience all the bad stuff
give or
that
take a
Wonderland
day
can
or
give.
two.
Yes, welcome to Changeling. Hello.
Yeah, this is
I will clarify. She didn't torture you every day. You've got a break, maybe a day or two at a time.
Yeah,
Oh, lucky you.
But it was very
like I'm thinking like this is like the mix between like actual Wonderland, like it's like a mix between actual Wonderland from like Disney level and also fucking McGee.
Tim Burton Wonderland.
No, like fucking McGee, whatever the fuck it was. American.
Oh,
McGee.
American McGee. Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah,
No,
it
that's
was the
also
American
a thing.
McGee's version.
I totally forgot about that. Yeah, that's also a thing. Sure. Yeah. So it's not very, it could have been very violent for sure.
Could have been very violent, a lot like plentiful, bloody. Like I said, it was like a struggle just to get through the day, the days. And it wasn't even just about like fighting for your life. Sometimes, like if you said the wrong thing, you could easily get killed.
Yeah, but she did train you in certain things. You got some twisted kind of benefit out of it.
Especially puzzles.
She tried to teach you. She tried to teach you. You learned a lot from her. Mysteries, secrets. The way of the sword, the workings of the human heart. Those kind of things under her tutelage. But you also learned the horrors of madness and the joys of drinking tea and having it spill down your body and burn your flesh.
Yeah, joys.
That sounds like my fetish. Wait a minute.
Stop it. Get out of here.
Stop right here. Get out of my death list account right now.
Get out of here, Banshee.
Let's move on. So you explained to them the rough summary of your endurance.
Yeah. At least what I could recall. And that I escaped. Is Dustin here? Like with his character?
William left to go to the portal.
Sorry, you cut out. What?
I said William left to go to the portal where everyone else is gathering.
Okay.
You saw him there.
Yeah. So she'll explain that.
Like everybody's there right now.
Yeah, he'll explain that like he escaped like through a portal, which he doesn't know if that's the very same portal.
No, it is. Yeah, it's the same one.
Yeah, and that it won't close until the end of the season. On top of the fact that it was the only way out, and now she's probably looking for him, and he wants to not be found by her as best as he can. He doesn't want to like face her again. He doesn't want to have to deal with it all over again because like he shows his hands like to like the Banshee obviously, and it's just like
and to Erebok, yeah.
Yeah, and to Erebok. Yeah, and to Erebok and be like, it's like I've had plenty of enough experience with this woman, and I don't ever want to ever again, for very obvious reasons.
You know that Lisa would not be able to see your hands unless they made an oath or a bargain with you.
Yeah.
Or if they don't have high enough level auspex to see past your mask either.
Yeah.
So
Not yet.
Not yet.
I have a question, by the way, Nova.
That is, or you can drop your mask also, I just realized. But yes.
I could, but I think I imposed. Doesn't that cost me things?
It costs you glamour, but that's it.
And it makes it easier for people to find you.
So for me, would that be like Vitae? Yeah, and I don't want her to find me.
It'd be Vitae, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want her to find me at all. So keeping this mask on is a good thing.
Good idea, yeah.
Yeah. Also, so my question is for fencing. For like using a rapier and stuff, would that be able to be used dexterity, or does
no, it still uses strength.
Yeah, you would have to get the merit to
merit. I say feat. I'm playing D&D now. I'm getting them mixed up. Yeah, you need to get a merit for that specifically because there's a specific merit for that I think William has where it's like you have to spend it to get a specialty that gives you dexterity specifically.
Yes. I didn't spend it because I didn't have the specialty.
Do you have like a link for it?
How many dots is it?
I think it's 2 dots.
2 dots, so it'd be 2 XP.
Oh, okay. So I could buy that if I wanted to.
Yes.
Cool. I won't buy it now, but I'll do it the next time that we can actually add stuff.
Of course.
On sheets.
Well, you can do that whenever you like. You could tell me now you want it, and we could talk about it after the session. Just, I
am interested in it because, like, as it is right now, with her, she has fencing as an expertise thing.
We'll talk about it after the session if you want to spend XP and such.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's a good question. You're right. You could, but you would need to get the mirror.
So,
yeah,
Alistair,
dexterity and then have everything. Yes.
So you might want to know your sire wishes to go in. How to put it? A little revenge crusade against this princess.
Well,
I like that you used the word crusade. Sorry, that's actually.
And she kind of jolts. He kind of jolts for a second, and he goes, "We have to stop him because, well, it's not so much that he's in danger, more so that if what Charlotte has said is true about the person at a bar, she's already here. She's not on the other side of that portal. She is here.
How can you stop them when they're already here?
Now get the fuck out of here, English.
You set me up for that one. Come on.
On your sire's side, if you were to plan to take her down at any time, that would probably be the best time.
Yes, but I meant more along the lines of we shouldn't send him into the hedge if we can take her out here.
So this is something you guys would know.
I agree.
This would be something in character. If you fight her on home turf, she's effectively like a god.
Yeah.
If you bring her out, if she's in the mortal world, she's more vulnerable. So that's
preferably, I'd rather not get entangled in any of this.
She
I
probably
had enough trouble with my own. I'd rather not indulge myself with another one.
She probably has weaknesses, doesn't she? I mean, most supernatural creatures.
As far as I would be aware, can Can I actually make a roll to see if I've ever like?
No, she
Seen
wouldn't.
her act
She wouldn't reveal anything to you directly, and she would be very careful not to. So if you,
Well,
Okay.
she does. Well, she does have one weakness, as all Fae have a weakness,
Curious.
and that is, of course, the element of. Is it called rot? Oh yeah, it's called
Cold
cold
cold iron, yes, cold iron.
cold iron. It's a material that proves very lethal to all of us that are from the hedge. Just like how I don't know. Actually, I can't really say. I haven't researched vampires enough. Shit, never mind. Well, just as I imagine you,
The sunlight.
people do
you
not
saw
enjoy
that,
the
yeah.
sunlight.
Yeah.
Our people do not enjoy cold iron. I have no scientific basis for it, but I have seen it used in various. Let's just say it was not very pleasant to treat those who were afflicted by it, if they were even be able to be treated after that.
And I have a question, Nova.
I will not answer you. No, I'm kidding. Go
Oh,
ahead.
Smart.
Christ.
Don't answer them. They know
Go
too
ahead.
much.
Yeah,
Armor?
don't answer me, cries. How expensive would it be to actually purchase cold iron in this type of?
In
Super.
this
It's not
in
even
this
a
type
stealing.
of in this type of environment, it would be very
Yeah.
difficult for you to acquire in terms of in the city. If you
Yeah.
wanted to get cold iron, you'd have to find some kind of ulterior, like specialized, very specialized contact, or you'd have to locate it elsewhere.
Okay.
Armand?
Am I able to?
Your butler is already next to you, so when you call his name, but he's like looking around, confused. He's like, "Yes."
Sorry, I am a bit tired. I guess it's the alcohol when I fed.
You're hungover, yeah.
Can I
Yes.
use the protected thing now to call him back to me?
To call who? Roland?
Yes.
We will go to see him, but
You're not
first,
in danger.
It just says to get help.
Right. You don't. You need. The reason why he comes to you is because he can sense when you're in danger. If you're not in
Okay.
danger, he won't come.
Well then, I think what she's going to do is she's just gonna like not waste any time and actually go like running towards the portal.
I was
She's
like,
gonna try and get there and cut him off before he and whatever forces he has with them decide to go in.
I love it. It's like, okay, guys, let's go.
Okay. So before we go, I tell to Armand, see if you can find cold iron.
All right. I will try my best. It is my duty to serve you, and I can't promise anything, but I'll look into the contacts that we have and see if anybody I know of might know someone. And
What is a rapier's dice mod anyway?
Thank you.
1d6.
And
no, he's talking about for this game.
Yeah.
and thank you, and prepare a room for Charlotte, assuming you can convince her not to sleep in the board.
Yes, I will try. But didn't you say we need to reserve that guest room for somebody else?
The
Good
closet will do just fine. Thank you very much. I do not trust your beds.
Wow.
okay, Trixie.
Well, so I guess you will have to adapt a cupboard for her. They'll find this weird.
When you're strapped to one.
You're,
Forever.
you're sure you want to sleep in there, Charlotte?
It helps me with my dreaming.
Meanwhile, I'm already out the door.
Right.
Now let's go to Roland.
Okay. Well, before that, I'm wondering what Eravok would do because I'm assuming Charlotte already.
Yeah,
said she plans to go.
I've been trying to sort of chime in here and there. just
Sorry about that.
around the thing.
It's fine.
But what Eravok's gonna do is he's gonna chase up his own sort of lead in terms of trying to track down some cold iron. It's like the print seems fascinating, and that type of person that might know something.
Okay, so you want to go approach the prince about this? Okay, sure.
Mhm.
What I'd like you to do to resolve this quickly is you have your status. So what I'll say is you can maybe try to ask him for help or get information from him. So it's going to be, I'd say, the base roll would be manipulation, and then you can use a skill that you think would apply here. I don't think you're trying to intimidate the information out of him, but you could use another skill, like socialize or streetwise or occult or
Sorry, what?
Aravok's trying to negotiate with the prince here. So
Okay.
it would be like a manipulation and then plus whatever you'd like to discuss. So occult would work to try to get information about the occult material. You could use persuasion if you want to try to appeal to him. But regardless of what you choose, you'll get a bonus from the status as well. So that'll give you a die. But I'm wondering what skill you want to use because that'll affect what answer you get from him. Or you could tell me what how you're speaking to him, and then I would tell you what would work.
Well, yeah, he wouldn't go in and go, Prince, yes, tell me about cold iron.
No, of course, I'm assuming you leading up to it, so you can role play it out.
It's like you'd have a bit of small talk and this and that, and it's like,
yeah,
and then you sort of ease into it and go, yes, well, I've actually come to ask you about such and such. It's like,
right.
But as for skill, I if it's between socialize, persuasion, and occult, I'd have to go with occult because that's
sure. So you're
the
speaking to
better
him
one.
specifically on like Fey matters and such.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so go ahead and roll.
Okay. Don't expect a great deal.
Yeah, just remember you
this.
get +1 from the status as well. So
there we go. I keep ending up out from away from the out of character tab for some reason. So what was it? 1 dice from status.
yeah.
That's slightly better, but
yeah.
Don't hold your breath. Let's see. 8.
Okay.
Present. I can't see what I got.
You got 0.
Oh, fuck you.
You
I got a 1, 2, 3, 4.
So I'll point this out. So what you notice is that the prince isn't immediately in the vicinity of this building. So you enter like this temple. It's a temple, and the scene that you see before you is rather ominous. There are a bunch of people kneeling down, to different statues of these powerful figures, these statues that are inside of the temple that don't necessarily resemble Mithras, but are heroic figures. People standing on top of mountaintops. With weapons and a man leading armies. These paintings, right? These various relics of his past that are gathered in these rooms. And there are people like in hoods, and they're armed as well. They have swords, and they're very proudly wearing these like bull head insignias on their chests. These are cultists that have gathered around him and are part of his entourage. And you meet with a person who seems to be one of the lieutenants of the cult, and he says, "Oh, you are not aware. He does not often see recruits, visitors. You must work your way up in this organization if you wish to have a direct audience with our Messiah."
I'm sorry, what?
Vampire cult.
He's a fucking messiah to them? Oh my god. Amazing.
He will bring a glorious new age. Our armies will reign.
Wait, I'm not even conversing with Mithras. Why the fuck did I roll manipulation? You know, I should have been rolling presence, intimidation. Get the fuck out of my way! I came here to talk to the horse's
Do you want
head,
to? Do you
not
want
the
to?
horse's ass?
Do you want to? Do you want to intimidate this guy? You can try if you like.
Do it, boy, do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Okay, go ahead. You can be like, hey, where is Mithras? I want to speak to him. This is not.
It's like I roll a fucking bodgy thing, and I'm not even talking to the dude. It's like,
Right. You're like, hey, I wanted to speak to him. Where is he? He said we would talk. Because he did tell you that. He said we would talk later. And you're like, no, he said we were going to talk personally. Where is he?
where are the drugs going? Let's see. So
Where are the
that's,
drugs? And the cat just goes,
Other
I
drugs
don't know.
But if you fail this, it's not going to look good on your reputation.
Yeah, well, I only
What
need-
reputation? I'm a fucking dragon.
I don't need rep, boys.
Yeah, I was like, his reputation's going down the shitter each time he does something.
The only reps I care about are in the gym.
But yeah, I'll allow you to make a presence
Oh.
intimidation roll.
Shut up, William.
But
Go and find Virginia.
and your +1 bonus still applies to this
Um,
too, so you'll still get
yeah.
the status buff.
Oh my god, Morgie, what you said was brilliant. The only reps I care about is in the gym.
Does Aravok lift though?
Actually, let me.
Nobody sure as fuck benches.
Oh, actually, yeah, that's a good question. Do you want to use paralyzing presence against this guy? Because you could totally whammy him if you did that.
Okay, what the fuck is going on again?
He so for context, Aravok is trying to speak with the prince at his cult meeting, but he is not seeing.
I rolled a dice roll that apparently I didn't need to roll because I'm not even talking to the person that I wanted to be talking
Well,
with.
so the roll was the roll was to see if he would assist you, and you. So that roll now has failed. So I'm creating a different situation.
So that's why
Okay,
you're not
fair
even
enough.
talking to the prince.
The reason why you're not talking to him is because you failed the roll, but you can still get into the building. But this guy's like, "Hey, you can't. Aren't you new here? Like, I don't recognize you." Like,
Yes, my membership card got lost in the mail, unfortunately. Yeah, I was just.
What mail? There's no postage service.
well, Roland runs the postage service.
He's literally a running postman.
So he has celerity, so he can get around pretty fast.
He delivered that letter on foot.
Yeah, he does that a lot. I mean, he also has other people who deliver mail with him, but
He also does singing telegrams.
I can totally imagine him sending like songograms. Yeah.
Okay.
Goes to Alistair. You're adopted. You're adopted.
Coding. Checking my contracts real quick.
I've been like 2 of the characters in my game have paralyzing presence now, so I actually know what it does. But it's a different die pool, so you'd have to use a different pool. But it would probably like if you use it on this guy, it'll basically force him to be like it'll basically like it won't paralyze. It kind of paralyzes him, but it like prevents him from doing anything against you, basically.
It's more
So
like
no,
he's trying his best not to piss his pants.
So you could like shove him out of the way with that.
I don't need to. Yeah.
Use
paralyze
you don't need to use magic on this guy.
I've got 8 dice with all the bonuses here, and with my Kif blessing, if I score 3, then that's a critical success.
So that'll probably be good enough.
Let's just hope I get. Yeah,
You could always
3.
use it for insurance.
Yeah, if this doesn't work, you could still use it on him, and then it would be good enough.
Actually, you know what? You know, I hate this stupid D10 fucking shit, so I'm going to spend a willpower for an extra 3 dice.
Okay, just mark it off. You can do that.
How much dice do you have right now?
He has
Yeah,
11, I think. 11 dice.
That should give me 3.
It
So
should.
as many as I normally have, well, smelling.
Statistically.
Has he rolled yet?
He's rolling now.
Yeah, okay, I just marked off me willpower, so...
Oh, exactly.
There
3.
we go!
There you go.
Critical
Okay.
success.
So the so what I'll say here is you get you'll get a positive condition, so it'll be you get a +2 to further interactions with the cult now, because you proved your dominance over this lieutenant. So you can mark a condition on your sheet that you have +2 to cult interactions for the next time you do it, basically. So when you start making, I'm assuming you start raising your voice, right? So you start like growling at him and you're like, listen to me. I actually role play this out for me so I can get an idea of what you're.
How dare you?
Because this is your draconic side kind of coming out, being like, okay, let's, yeah.
What is that?
I think that's Olivier, yeah.
Yes?
You got a little bit of background noise.
If you can
sorry.
mute, that'd be.
Okay, better now?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's better.
So can you role play like how this is going? Yeah.
So what did this dude say exactly again? That
He was saying
I
like,
can't see.
he's basically saying like, you kind of come in, you have like a card. Oh, I'm sorry. So you have like a new member. He gave you like a business card or a card that would show you where to go to get here. And he says, well, you're new here. You can't just see the prince, our Messiah, like immediately. You must prove your worth in order to be in his presence.
So what are these, like kindred fucking brainwashed humans? What?
You're not sure. It could be either or. You can't really detect that because you're not a kindred yourself. It's hard for you to detect whether they're.
I must prove my worth. Oh, okay.
Are you gonna drop your mask again?
Yes, I'm going to drop my fucking mask again.
Okay, so then that's gonna be another.
I don't give a shit. Bring in the huntsman. I don't care. I'll take him on.
So are you just doing this to agonize William here? Like,
So can you spend a glamour for me real quick?
I will spend a glamour.
Sure. Okay, just give me a sec. I have to roll something.
Prove my worth. Okay, I'll prove my fucking worth. I'll pay you the shreds.
Okay, so yeah, you drop do you just start roaring like I don't know, how does this work? Like what do you do when you turn into a dragon in front of this guy and he's like you must
make
prove me.
a T-Rex sound from Jurassic Park.
Yeah, like how does this work?
Yeah, much like the last time. It's like his skin sort of cracks open like he's boiled alive sort of thing,
Right.
and sort of reveals beneath his flesh his draconic scales and form that sort of bursts out of the human form body.
Okay. You see, as you're doing this, the other people who are just kneeling and praying, they start like freaking out and like cowering now. Like they're kind of bowing, not to you, but they're like, oh, like they're hiding, like they're kind of ducking their head, like something's going on.
The opposite of that.
So you're inspiring fear into everybody, and the lieutenant just sort of steps out of the way. He moves like a curtain. It's like, Yes, someone he is here for you, sir. And you see Mithras just kind of step out from the curtain. He's wearing more like formal sort of Persian clothing, more Middle Eastern style clothing, and he's like, "Oh, Eravak, I'm very sorry. I did not tell them you. I was not expecting you tonight. Please come in."
I am
I'm sorry.
sorry for the intrusion.
Were they rude to you? I'm very sorry. He is my honored guest. Please don't disrespect him again by holding him at my door. No, sir, I'm very sorry. Please forgive me. He basically like smacks this guy and he flies into one of the statues and his head is just bloody, like, and he's like knocked unconscious. That will teach you your lesson. Please come. He just like wipes his hand.
Eravok follows, trudges along behind him.
Like it's casually poop. You hear this like crashing noise.
It's like you got this Persian prince that I don't know. I'm just picturing some sort of pseudo Bond villain now, just sort of casually walking back in. That's being trailed by fucking Diablo, Lord of Terror. It's like, what?
Yeah, that's pretty
just sort of a fucking clash of styles there.
What do you need, sir? I'm not busy. If you're not, but you seem like you are looking for something.
Indeed, I was curious as to whether you knew anything about cold iron.
We used to use cold iron and other forms of, well, the other creatures of the night. There was a period of time where we were in contention with those forces many, many decades ago. That time has passed. I, of course, am always prepared for any eventuality, as should any sensible ruler be. Do you have need of cold iron, my friend?
It seems to be the case. Are you familiar with the one known as Princess?
The one who is princess of this. You mean Victoria?
Eravok's just sort of looking at it. It's like,
is Victoria a fae? I would not be surprised, personally. But I wouldn't recommend having anything to do with her.
I don't know this Victoria of whom you speak. But
there is one who has come to my court. She calls herself Princess. I think I understand who you're speaking of. They requested that we provide them immunity of a diplomatic sort. Now, of course, they had no understanding of the nuances of politics. They came into my court like a hysterical harlot and started making all these accusations. But I am under no interest in starting a war. She seemed to have some important position, and I do not wish to act against her.
Yes, well, with cold iron, you wouldn't need to start a war with her.
I don't suggest this course of action.
From what I learned from my master, she is not to be trifled with nor bargained with.
I could have assumed that myself, yes.
If she can be neutralized.
What threat does she pose?
Outside of Arcadia. Not that great a threat. Not as great as it could be.
This is not something I want to be involved with. This is a time of peace. We must maintain the peace. I have gone out of my way to silence the sorcerers. I have gone out of my way to placate the wolves. And I have, against the better judgment of my council, who I trust with my life, stayed out of affairs of the Fae.
And what of this? Erevok sort of, holds forth the letter he got, like everyone else. It's like, here's my golden ticket.
What is this? He reads it. Do you allow him to read it, I assume?
Yeah, I allow him to read it. It's like,
I see, Erevok. I see. Thank you for bringing me this information. I greatly appreciate it. You are far more loyal than I would have thought at first.
Oh, Christ. Please tell me.
Thank you.
Did you just tell...
Erevok sucking the dick.
Did you just tell him about Holland?
If you wish to receive iron and go to war, what I think would be best. Here, he sort of gives you like a sheath of a weapon that you'd assume would be it's not it's the metal isn't it's covered, so of course you don't have to touch it, but it's this sort of small dagger that's like curved slightly. It's a little ornate, and it might have a little silvered tip on the edge of the hilt kind of thing, or the sheath. So it looks very it looks very ancient and has what you would believe to be maybe mystical properties. Just by glancing at it, it seems significant, And he says, here, if you are looking to defeat one of their kind, please deliver this to Roland for me, and I'm sure that he will find this useful for his purpose. But I want it to be known that this was not an expedition that was part of our cult. If you are working on this operation, it should be done by you and in your name alone. You understand?
So be it.
If they believe that I have assassinated one of their key figures, then it would not bode well for my continued security. But if you were to stir the pot, so to speak, then it does nothing for me. He takes the little card, the membership, card away from you, as if to say, like he wants to remove any evidence that you might be linked to him.
You're no longer in the club.
Says, as of now, we are no longer affiliated. He kind of holds you on the shoulder, and he actually is going to dominate you. And I'm not going to roll unless you're going to resist. So he's basically going to force you into that agreement of like, oh, you'll forget him, but you'll go to roll it and you'll give him this, because he can actually alter your memory. So he's actually going to erase your affiliation mentally of this group and tell you to go to Roland and give him the weapon. So unless you want to try to resist that, I'm just not going to roll it, because it's pretty. He's an elder, so it's more of a question of would you resist or would you allow it to happen as a player, kind of thing. Because I'll give you a beat for it if you just accept, because you would get a beat for it.
Oh, there's a beat in it.
Yeah.
Though I'm thinking as a character. Yeah.
Of course, as a character, I'm just asking out of character here. I mean,
It's
of course,
like
would resist, but he's very powerful. He's much more powerful than you. So.
Yeah, I'd at least try to roll for it.
Okay, sure. So it'll be what I'll do here is I'll make this let me see what his dice pool would be here.
Yeah.
Might take a bit. I didn't want to have to roll it because it would take me a bit to look it up, but if you want to bring it to the dice, I will allow it.
Because it's like, yeah.
For sure. I'm okay with doing this. I just need to look.
Someone wants to be big man on campus here.
If you resist and play along, I agree that would be a better result for you here. That would actually be a huge benefit to you. So it's going to be, he's going to roll, and it's going to be your. Let's see. I think this is the triggering one. Where's the one? This is you remain. Okay, so he has to mesmerize you first. So in order to do that, he gets to roll. He has to roll his initial. So it's your resolve plus weird here.
Well, we all know weird's 1. What's resolve?
And you can spend willpower to add 2 as well. That's your option.
What's that? 2 dice?
Yes.
Okay, so I might as well spend a willpower.
Sure. Okay.
So
let me look up his. That's real quick. I can estimate them, but I need to get a good idea of his stats first.
So, what was it? Willpower gives me 2 extra dice.
Yes, so it's resolve plus weird plus 2.
So that resolve plus weird plus 2, so that's 6 dice total.
Okay. He's going to be rolling. He gets to intelligence.
He's going to be rolling a bajillion dice.
Yes. Well, I'll tell you how many. I'll give you an idea. I won't really hide it. He's going to roll. I have to see what his.
He's basically the leader of the vampires, so
probably going to be about at least. Is he have expression?
What I've got in my mind at the moment is the it's like that Darth Vader Luke Skywalker scene, except the prince is portraying Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And he's just instead of throwing junk at Luke with the Force, he's throwing dice.
Yes, I'm just looking for his what level. Oh yeah, he is like, yes. So he is
bombarding with dice.
In this case, since they don't have higher levels than 9, I'll just give him 6 for that, and then it'll be intelligence. His intelligence is around. Yeah. Okay. This is gonna be. I don't even know. I don't have enough dice to roll in my. I need to go grab the other. Okay, so it's going to be.
We're not going to do this online. I want to see the result.
Yeah, this is. Yeah, no. I'll still roll it in the thing. I don't have enough dice in front of me to be able to roll. It's too many. I have to go to the dice pool here. So let me go. It's going to be. Let's roll. How many? So we have that many. So then plus 6, and then 15, and then you add and then you add 4. Right. Okay. So it'll be 19 dice.
19 is that good enough for you?
13 successes. I don't think you're gonna beat that. I'm sorry.
What is a success on these dice?
It's you need 8, 9, or 10, and the 10's reroll.
8, 9. You're telling me off 19 dice, you rolled at least fucking 15.
Yeah,
of them over
I
8.
also have
Jesus
10s here.
Christ.
I have
You
10s
have a
here.
lot of tens.
Yeah, you get a lot of 10s.
I mean, I rolled 7 dice and got 8 successes last time.
He's just so for the record, he's ancient, so he's very powerful. That's why I said normally I wouldn't roll this because it would be.
Wait, no, that's 13 successes. But still, yeah, it's. Well, what, did he get a bonus or something? I don't know. Either way, there's where our luck's gone, gentlemen. The GM has pinched it today.
I didn't do anything.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
This is why you don't mess with elders. So in this case, I'm going to say that yeah.
In this case, I'm still going to roll anyway.
You're still going to roll anyway just to see. Because if you dramatically fail, that'd be very funny to me.
I mean, it's something. I dramatically fail. Yeah, have a beat and get your ass kicked.
You get 2 beats actually in this case, so dramatically failing might be good.
What did I say? It was 6 dice.
Yeah.
60.
Actually, if you fail, you can turn into a dramatic fail and then get 2 beats.
Over. Shit.
Hey, you got 1 success. That's not bad. He only beat you by 12.
Yeah, someone else went and stole the rest of the 10s.
Anyway,
swing by my dice pool sometime.
let me. So can you add
ones.
so you can add the beat for yourself, real quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you take that?
Shit. Where's my beats? Up or down. Ah, there we are. So that puts me at 4 or 5 for this time around.
So I think what he says is he commands you to forget that you're affiliated with him, like you're not going to remember your ties to them, and he wants you to go to Roland and give him the knife.
You essentially have been kicked out of the Vampire Club.
Well, to be fair, he's not actually kicked out. They're just erasing his memory so that he isn't, involved with them if this goes down badly.
Which I'm sure it will.
Yes, of course. So I'm just going to skip forward to this scene where William.
I like Jason Bourne.
William, you see a very, very stoic. Let's use that word. Aravak march up to Roland and hand him the knife, and Roland's like, "Where do you get this?" And the only answer that would reasonably be, that you could determine is, "I don't remember." He's like, "Okay, well, whatever." And he unsheaths it, and he sees that it's this like glowy sort of iron.
Yeah, I just recognize that as cold iron.
Yeah, you don't need to roll for that. You would immediately see. Normally, normally it doesn't like glow, but I kind of like doing a whole Lord of the Rings type of thing. Where it's kind of glowy. I don't know, it's just a personal. It's hard to tell otherwise if it's cold iron or not. So I mean, at least in the presence of you guys, it might glow. I don't know. I like that concept. So he kind of unsheaths a little bit. He sees it, and he's like, "Okay." He shoots it again. He puts it. He asked Alice. Well, Alistair, you can't carry it because then you'll hurt. So he asks, I guess Lisa, because I don't want him to have it. Yeah. Does Lisa want to carry this knife?
I guess I will.
Okay. So you have a cold iron dagger now.
Okay, cool.
We can talk about the Yeah, it's just a standard, so you can look up the rules for
Okay.
that. But it's you have it now. I don't think he like says, does anyone want this? And you're just the first one who's like, yeah, oh, I want to hold it. And so he's like, I don't trust. Okay,
Everyone's
here.
kind of just like on edge around it, like
Yeah, everyone's like, oh, geez. And then now Eravok would return to normal because we just wouldn't remember. You still have the status, which is actually kind of funny to me. You just don't, so you could go back into the cult area if you found it again, and they would recognize you, but you wouldn't recognize them at all. I find that kind of funny. So you don't lose the status. You still keep it. But you've now returned to your normal mental state after fulfilling the command. So now you're standing basically near the alleyway where the smoke is billowing out next to everybody else.
Why are we standing in the middle of an MTV music video?
I have no idea.
Juliet's just like crossing her arms and she's like, is one of you going to go in or...
I don't know if we go. I mean, weren't we coming here to tell Roland it wasn't there wasn't any need to go anymore?
You're not going to do anything about this?
I'm just wait. Easier.
Rowan and Juliet are both
See,
near the portal. Yes.
Okay, sorry.
This is where you guys, the guys that have
little Ravok made me completely lose track of what was going on.
It's fine. It's fine. But as you're coming up, you'd see Roland and Juliet are standing nearby the edge, like the sides of the portal, being like, she's just kind of there because she was interested in this whole thing, and he's there because it was his idea.
Look, Roland, there is a complication.
Oh my, the executioner's here. How
Things
lovely.
are getting complicated. What happened?
This princess you are looking for, she already is here.
Oh, well, where is she? Juliet's like almost like she's sharpening her sword. Like,
Charlotte's
Tupperware
her
container.
hands.
We don't know exactly, but I went to a bar to feed last night, and the barman told me he saw a woman. He saw a woman with pink hair.
look, you seem to be like she kind of like Juliet calls you over. Like Juliet calls Lisa over, and she notices that you have this dagger, right?
Yes.
I don't usually do this. I don't usually trust other people with my business. But are you aware of the position of Hound?
May I try
Yeah,
a
it's a
roll?
politics. Yeah, politics roll. Yeah.
Okay, not my best roll, but it will have to do. Okay, so intelligence plus politics.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so five dice.
Not bad. Not bad. That's very good. I don't think a lot of people out of character know, so I might explain it anyway. But
Two successes.
okay, so I'm just explaining this for the sake of out of character. Essentially, a hound is someone that the sheriff will assign as like a they're underneath the sheriff, but they work for the sheriff. It's like, well, would you be willing to work under me in this case, in this investigation? I will provide you with benefits, of course, and you will work directly with me, but I want this woman to be dealt with.
I would be honored to.
Good.
agreed.
Charlotte's sort of just like, eh.
Since
So what I
I
want you to do, she does this like knighting thing. So she you kneel and then she gives you the whole
Okay.
you'll work for us. So what I want you to do is I want you to take status 1, and then it'll be kindred status 1, and then it'll be you're like unofficially like a hound of, because they can't they can't officiate you because this is a secret mission. So they're like, well, if you keep doing work for me, we'll be able to make you officially like higher rank. But for now, you're working privately with me.
Okay.
And I want you to be doing this because if I ask Mikhail, he is too honest and he will tell the prince everything. And Mikhail isn't there, by the way, when she's saying this, but she says this to you. She says, if I told Mikhail to do this for me, he would tell the prince and we would all be, this plan would fail.
And I am thinking, if Mikhail learn about this, I am gonna be in trouble.
Right, but she's basically trusting you to keep it a secret from him as well.
Of course.
Secret
Right.
mission.
So I get kindred status 1 without any experience spent.
That's correct. It's just story merit, so you get that.
Okay.
I've got about 7 minutes before I need to go, so.
Sure. Would there be anything you'd like to do before we wrap up? Then I'll let you take.
Yeah, I'm gonna basically say it seems we all have reason to go after this princess, so I suggest we.
Well, I have no reason at all. I'm just here to watch you all see what'll happen.
Well, I imagine if Princess escapes, that word of your escape might reach your keeper.
Now, the first thing I'm going to ask is that you figure out where she is. If she's beyond that gate, if she's bar hopping, I don't care. Just figure out where she's hiding out.
Mm-hmm. She might even be hiding out in that castle that I know some of us.
She's probably not hiding out anywhere. She's probably more drifting around. The bartender told me last night that she was looking for blonde chicks. She sort of just like shrugs.
I almost imagine you peer over at Alistair. You're like, oh.
You do know she can pop in and out of Arcadia and back anytime she wants. So she might.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we should make a motiny.
I'm just imagining
That was my out of character. Like, what is this fucking word called?
Motley, like Motley Crue.
Mm-hmm. A motley.
The fuck is that?
It's a oath that benefits everyone involved.
You basically form a party by creating an oath as a group.
I fucking hate working in parties. They always suck. I'm kidding.
Oh yeah, it says the Abyssal.
Only on my other game. Shh.
I think I've never seen a game where you are, like I mean Lupus kind of, but you were separate from everybody there. I haven't seen a game where you actually like.
I work better alone.
Well,
Everyone else is just holding me back.
I agree. Well, I don't agree on the second point, but
a motley wouldn't like stop us from working alone either, but it would make it so no one betrays the party and we'll get benefits from it.
correct. Because out of character, if you form an oath, you can get special abilities that'll benefit the entire group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but if I go evil and I join Princess and I get experiment, they'll know you guys.
Well, yeah, the problem with the oath is that you even if you break it, the oath is still part of your being. So like you can't really get out of it once you make the oath.
Okay, well, let us make this oath then.
I will immediately, you're like, I'll do it.
I am not certain on making oaths just yet.
Juliet, so I think after she gives you this order, she's left already. So she doesn't hear any of this motley, because otherwise she would kill all of you. But so she's gone. And
Yeah, she's like a pull up her ass.
And Roland's like, whatever you're doing, I don't no. Well, Alistair doesn't want. I guess I can't speak for him, but I should probably go. You're doing like a private thing. I got you guys together. I think that's good. I got you guys together. I think that's good enough.
Pat yourself on the back and walk away.
Thing, William's gonna say.
I have work to do. You can take care of Alistair. Bye. He's like, speeds away. So yeah, now you guys are. I just want to explain like why you guys are alone, because otherwise,
Yeah.
it'd be weird. But they leave, so now it's just the four of you.
Okay. Well, I guess we should.
I don't know where Silver went, but it is the four of you.
Okay. So what do we do now? Do we go through the portal, or do we go back home to prepare ourselves?
Yeah, he's suggesting you do the oath first. So
Yeah.
just really quick.
We haven't officially done the oath yet.
Yeah, you have to do the thing. So
Let's do the oath.
I think that's where I would wrap it up, actually. So we do the oath, and then we would probably wrap, and then I'd give everyone XP, and then everybody can go. I think that'll be the best way to handle it. So the way you do the oath is, Dustin, you have to spend a glamour. Aravok has to spend a glamour. Charlotte spends a glamour, and then
I'm
you.
not doing the oath.
Oh, you're not doing the oath. Okay.
No, in character, she does not want to take part in any oaths with people she barely knows for a cause she honestly has like no stakes in or has any interest in, honestly.
Fair enough. I understand that.
I was saying, like, this benefits you as well, because
just to clarify, just for out of character, if she doesn't swear the oath now, you can swear her in later.
Yeah, like maybe later if you get to know her more. But
Like
just right now,
she doesn't. You guys don't know this, but like if you make the oath, it's not like set in stone. So like if you make the oath, you can include her in at a later date and say, okay, you're part of our group now.
Okay.
So if she doesn't swear now, it's not the end of the world. You can go back and revise the terms.
it's like make sure you write this in carbon pencil so you could erase it.
So I'm gonna mark off the vitae for Alistair, and then everyone else marks off the vitae for themselves, or glamour vitae, whatever the equivalent is.
So we spend one vitae or glamour each.
Yeah, basically yes.
Okay.
Is Erebok going to do the oath? That's the question.
Yeah, that's like a good question. He might not either. It just might be the two of you. You're already bound, so it wouldn't really be. Well, Alistair would
Party of
agree.
two, a me party.
Well, it's like the thing is, he doesn't have a problem with Lisa, and he doesn't have a problem with Alistair. It's a good thing Charlotte ain't doing it, because at the moment he doesn't really like her all that much.
So while they're
Well,
doing
like,
the oath,
you
does
frequently-
Charlotte like? Do you physically like leave as they're doing the oath? Like as they're preparing to swear this oath, you're just going to like get out of the area so that
Who,
you're not
me?
involved. Yeah, I'm just at. You're like, are you staying there?
Oh, I'll
watching
probably
them?
watch from afar, but I'm not going to swear myself in.
Okay, so I'm just confirming you're getting some distance so we can imagine the scene like physically that the 1, 2, 3, 4 of them are kind of in a circle or whatever, and then you're just in the distance.
It's like Erebok, kind of trusts 2 of the 3 here.
Yeah.
He's going to need to know that William's on the level first. He's like,
Well, I mean, by doing this, I kind of can't betray the party or anything like that. So, like,
Right,
you
that's part of the
have
oath.
my
The part of the
power.
oath is that you prevent them from being able to do anything against you that you don't want.
this is me offering my hat and being like, "Yeah, it's your job to take it."
yeah, it's more or less, okay, I'll go along with it. Just, don't fucking question my methods in the future, pretty much.
Of course. I mean, that's not. You guys can decide the details of the oath. I just want you to swear it. You could decide it all out of character, but just in character, I want to make sure that it happens.
And I gotta go.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So let me give you your beats, and then you can go. Okay.
Right. Sorry,
Okay.
guys, for just like ditching y'all, but
No, it's totally fine. I just need to make sure I give him his, and then he can go.
That's basically Erebok's one catch.
So for William,
he'll go along with it, but
William,
William's got to accept that.
you get 1 for being here, so there's that. And then for the for aspirations, you get I mean, do you feel like you've determined his loyalties by creating this oath with him? And then the other one was the long-term one here, yes.
Oh, snap.
So you get two. So I'm wondering about the second one, but otherwise you will get one for the long term no matter what. And that doesn't get erased. It's still there. So you get 2 beats. But I'm wondering about the middle one. Oh, did they leave? Oh, they did. Okay. Never mind. I'm talking to thin air.
Sorry?
I was talking to Dustin, but they left. So.
Yeah, he jumped through the edge portal already.
Great. Okay, I'll have to figure out where I mark it then on their sheet. Okay, here we go.
He posted something on the Discord.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Well,
Okay.
let me just turn off the broadcast real quick, and then we can talk about beats.
So